Hello guys, welcome to my Awakening Witch guide. Long time coming. We're gonna cover just about everything there is to know about Awakening Witch in this guide today, and we're gonna start off. So we should probably go over why to play Awakening Witch first. Awakening Witch is definitely more of a battle mage in large scale and small scale PvP. You're basically you're chocked full of all of the support skills that you could possibly want in the game, whether it be like buffs for your allies, defensive buffs, offensive buffs, heals, everything that you could possibly want. Awakening Witch basically comes back with a ton of range pressure that you can pressure with and actually get a lot of damage down, but you're gonna have to get close to do the majority of her damage. But because of the rework and everything, all of the range pressure that they've given her, she functions definitely more of like a mid-range battle mage. Awakening Wizard is definitely like just super up close all the time, and you're basically just double TPing in and just pounding as much ass as you can all the time, whereas Awakening Witch is definitely more of a reactive play style. It's laid back. I like to say that Awakening Wizard is more of a top and Awakening Witch is definitely more of a bottom situation going on here. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get into the skills here. I will prelude this and say that she is not a good 1v1er, but she is good at most other aspects of the game. You are not going to be able to 1v1 very well. She probably has some of the lowest mobility in the entire game, excluding maybe Shy. But aside from that, she's a really solid class in large-scale PvP. She's one of the best classes in the game in PvE. And she is definitely the safest PvE class in the game as well. All right, so starting off, this is her class buff here. Witch's class buff. She just reaches up and snaps just like that there. She gives you 700 MP as soon as you use the skill. So you get a bunch of mana back. So if you find yourself without mana, you can class buff and get a quickie amount of mana back. Maybe if you use magic shield or something like that. It gives you cast speed plus 20%, critical hit rate plus 20%. The critical hit rate is extremely important because most of Witch's skills do not have 100% crit rate in the Awakening format. It gives you all AP plus 20, all accuracy plus 15%, all evasion rate plus 12%, and that's the big one. And also all DP plus 15. It says recover 80 MP with when using a skill with the Ad Sphere app. Yeah, okay, that's really only going to be super useful in PvE, but it is okay, right? You're probably not going to run out of mana in PvE at all. But the big thing here that you need to understand is that Witch's class buff gives all of the defensive buffs from this class buff to her allies as well. So Awakening Wizard has the exact same class buff, okay? The exact same stats, but instead he gives all of the offensive stats to his allies, okay? So you're giving all the defensive stats to your allies, and plus 12% evasion rate is super impactful. So it's the plus 12% evasion rate and the plus 15 DP for 30 seconds to yourself and allies, and then you get all the extra stuff as well. So super good, and you want to make sure that you're next to your allies or your party when you actually do use it. Tectonic block. This is a block that gives you all DP plus 20 for 5 seconds. It used to give resistances too. It also gives you MP back when you block things. Looks like this. Okay, and you can just let go of your keyboard and she will hold the block there forever. Okay, and it will constantly keep giving you the DP buff. Okay, so this is a really good block. Awakening Wizard does not have this block capability, and again, this makes the Awakening Witch really good at like holding back ranged pressure. You can see it's nice and wide. It will actually block things to the side of you. Let me see if I've got my pen hooked up here. So like, it's much wider than you actually are. So like, it will block incoming projectiles on the sides of you as well. So when you're standing in front of the offense ball, or you're standing in large scale PvP, it will actually block projectiles for yourself and the nearby allies as well. It's really good. It's really good. Okay, this is just your Alvia skill. It's obviously really solid, but it's only usable in Serendia Alvia. Ad Sphere training, that's pretty standard on most classes. This flow magical evasion, this is your side dash. And although it's only super armored on the first dash in PvP, so if I dash like this, it's super armored the whole time. Okay, but in PvE, it's an iframe. Okay, so if you ever get... Part of the reason that Awakening Witch is so good in PvE is because she's super safe in PvE. Very, very safe. Okay, so if you get into a lot of trouble, you can just keep doing this. And since she's not a very stamina-intensive class, you can basically just do this forever, and they can't hit you. You just iframe your way to safety, and nothing can ever hit you. It's very easy. And you can notice that I can just keep doing this until you run out of stamina, which takes a really, really long time. Okay, it's very difficult to die in PvE on the Witch because of that iframe. Okay, moving on to Equilibrium Break. Before we go over this, I want to go over the summons. It's very important on Awakening Witch that you take your pet out. Like 50% of your damage. They've basically stacked all of the buffs for Awakening Witch. And Awakening Wizard is the same thing. But particularly Awakening Witch, if you take your pet out, you're going to be doing about 50% more damage. All of your skills get new, more effects on them. And you can use your pets for different abilities. Okay, I like to use Gore, and again, I put it on my hotbar over here. I put it on my hotbar. I only put one pet on the hotbar, and I lock the other pet, because if you don't lock the other pet, when you hit F, she will constantly switch pets, and you have to hit F a lot for Awakening Witch. So, like, I recommend just picking a pet, and then just sticking with that pet. I like Gore because he's a super homie. Okay, so if I hit the number 9, Gore comes out. You'll notice that Gore is a super cute little rock golem, okay? But he's also a really thick boy. Okay, he's very wide. The most important thing that you can actually use Gore for is blocking incoming projectiles. If your frontal guard is broken, okay, you can actually just stand behind Gore and he will block archer skills. He will block the ranger skills. He will block incoming fireballs and all incoming range damage as long as you keep Gore between yourself and your target. He's really, really wide and he has a lot of health. Okay, he likes to walk around. If you double right mouse button, Gore will attack your opponent. Is Witch more protected than Wizard? They are both equally protected, but in different ways, and I'm going to explain that. Okay, so if I get Gore out, keep in mind, every time you spawn in, every single time you die, and so if you die and you have to respawn up, if you go into a load screen of any kind, Gore is actually going to go away. And Gore can die. But Gore really only dies in large-scale PvP. Like in Siege, Gore can take enough damage that he can die almost instantly. So just bear that in mind. You do need to make sure that Gore is actually alive and out so that all of your skills are getting extra damage. If I double tap right mouse button, Gore will attack the opponent that I put him on. And you'll notice that he actually stiffens people when he comes out and attacks them. And so you can see the CC counter on that guy right there. So, like, your pet can actually CC people. Okay? It's very difficult. The range on this is actually not super far away. Okay? If I go over here, I can't double right mouse button him anymore. But if I walk up close, he comes out and he tries to attack him. It does bug out from time to time. You see, okay, so he evidently there is a drill sergeant in the ground there. That's fine. Okay, but it's not a crazy far range, and it is unprotected, so you have to bear that in mind. Okay, so I like using Gore because in large scale PvP, again, he blocks projectiles, and he does help keep me alive, gives me a little bit more durability. Okay, the other pet is Keeper Tet. Okay, Keeper Tet, you'll notice, is much thinner, much more aerodynamic, also bald. Not that that's relevant, but definitely super bald. Okay, if you double right mouse button Keeper Tet, you'll notice he doesn't actually have to TP on top of your opponent to get the stiffen off. It's more instant. It's a ranged stiffen. From range, basically instantly. This is very good for 1v1s. So if you're in a 1v1, you probably are going to want to have Tet out instead of Gore. Okay? Because, boom, he drops the stiffen on them, right? And then you can go in and follow up with a detonative flow or something like that, right? Okay? I like Gore in most cases. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to have Gore out. But you always need to have your pet out. This is the most important thing for a staff, whether it's PvE, PvP, what have you. If you don't have your weapon out, all of your friends will make fun of you. Okay. Equilibrium Break. Basically, the witch stomps the ground in front of her. I could probably just watch the skill demo. Okay, so that's the normal Equilibrium Break. She stomps the ground in front of you and Gore appears in front of you. But if you have Gore out, if you have your pet out, it casts much faster. It casts way faster. It also has a few extra hit on it. Okay, it also has a few extra hits on it, so it does more damage as well. Okay, this is an excellent skill. As a general rule, you need to understand that Awakening Witch, if you're wondering how she's protected, electricity skills are super armor, generally speaking. Not all of them, but generally speaking, the electricity skills are super armored. And the earth skills are frontal guards. Okay? Basically, everything you do is protected with minimal exceptions. With minimal exceptions. I will say that, like, the fact that Witch has primarily earth skills means that she is primarily frontal guard protected. This makes her exceptionally good from range. Okay, if you have a lot of frontal guards, you can protect yourself from range damage. Awakening Wizard, on the other hand, is primarily super armors. Okay, so he likes to super armor trade, and since he can't really afford to take poke damage because he doesn't have a lot of frontal guards to protect himself, he likes to get up close a lot sooner. Awakening Witch can stand at range and just continually throw frontal guards basically all the time. Basically all the time. So the biggest and most important skill in your kit, and this is what makes Witch really good in PvE, is this skill called Fissure Wave. Okay, Fissure Wave is on a 3-second cooldown. Okay, this is also the skill that you always want to have your core skill on. Okay, I'm gonna move chat to the side for just a moment so that we can see the core skills down here. You're never taking the core on basically anything else. The only other time that you want to take a different core is maybe you take the core on Thunderstorm because it gives Thunderstorm a stun. But really, this is not good because you can just 50% and it gives Thunderstorm a stun. Okay, and we're going to get into that when we do the BSR skills. But you're basically taking the core on Fissure Wave in PvE. PvP, it doesn't really matter. The core is basically always sitting on Fissure Wave, and it's always got a 3-second cooldown. So you can basically just... like this, okay, and then it's already off cooldown. Okay, you can see a bunch of rocks rising from the ground. That's because they've added another skill that's called Earth's Calling. This used to be its own standalone skill, and then they added it to Fissure Wave, and now it's on a 3-second cooldown and automatically casts when you use Fissure Wave. Fissure Wave is a knockdown in PvP, and it is a down attack. It is really good. It is your primary follow-up CC in PvP, and it is also the skill. You're basically spamming out Fissure Wave all the time in PvE. All the time. You are basically using it when it's off cooldown. It's a Fissure Wave spam. Okay, this is an amazing skill. Frontal guard every 3 seconds, and then you put some really good skill add-ons on it, and you're basically just pounding the whole time. Now let's get into some of the electricity skills. This is Thunderstorm, but we're actually going to cover Voltaic Pulse first because they go together. Where there is Voltaic Pulse, there will also be Thunderstorm. Okay, Voltaic Pulse, as you guys see here, blankets the ground in lightning all around you. If you have your pet out, it does extra damage and it gets an extra effect. Okay, it does extra damage and it gets an extra effect. It's also a bound on hit. It's super armored. Okay, it's an evasion debuff by 15% evasion debuff. Okay, so in PvP, this is super critical. Okay, hitting them with Voltaic Pulse is very important. You almost always lead off with Voltaic Pulse in almost every combo that you are going to do. Basically, it has everything on this skill. This is your bread and butter go-to skill for basically everything that you do. Okay, you always lead off with this skill. It's basically Voltaic into Thunderstorm every time, and then you're probably following it up with Fissure Wave for the re-CC. Okay, it's very clean. It's very easy to remember. Remember, we just went over Fissure Wave. You basically CC them the first time with Voltaic Pulse, hit them with the Thunderstorm in between skills, then re-CC them with Fissure Wave, and then you can follow up with other stuff. Okay, but it's always Voltaic Pulse and then Thunderstorm, basically in that order every time. Thunderstorm calls down lightning from all around you, okay, but generally speaking, it only hits right in front of you. That has a much bigger AoE than it looks like. It hits, I would say its AoE is actually like this. Its AoE is probably like this. It doesn't look like it, but it definitely hits more things than it looks like it hits. It also does a lot of damage. Make sure that you have your pet out. If you have your pet out, it actually adds a slow to Thunderstorm. It applies a shock effect that reduces the speeds of everyone when struck, okay? So if you look at the dummy Yeah, if you look at the dummy right there, it's got a slow on it. It's got a slow on it, okay? And that's because I'm hitting it with Thunderstorm with my pet out, okay? I can back up a little bit, but you'll notice that Thunderstorm hit both of those. Thunderstorm hit both of those dummies right there, even though I'm standing all the way back here, okay? Now, I will say all of these skills have a sweet spot, guys. All of these skills have a sweet spot. So for Fisher Wave, you really want them to be almost right in front of you, just like this. Bam. Okay? The flow for Fisher Wave is the iconic snap that she does above her head that we all respectfully love so much. So right here, right at the end of the skill, bam, that snap, really crisp, really crisp, and you really want to hit that damage. It's a lot of damage. The snap almost does more damage than the skill itself does. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But Fisher Wave does have a decent amount of range. I can hit him from all the way back here. Okay. I don't think I can hit him from this point right here with Fisher Wave. Okay. So this is a little bit... no, it didn't quite get to him. It didn't quite get... It looked like it hit him, but you'll notice he didn't get knocked over. So no, it didn't actually hit him there. So this range is just a little bit too far for Fisher Wave here. I could technically hit him with Thunderstorm, though. Notice he's got his... You'll notice that it did connect because he's got a slow on him. Because he's got a slow on him up there. Okay. All right, so that's Voltaic and Thunderstorm. Again, Voltaic has your evasion debuff on it. It's a super armor. It's a bound. It's got everything. It's got everything. So this is another great skill to put your skill add-ons on if you're looking for that. Again, all of these skills have flows. The Voltaic Tet, if you just have your pet out, it does the flow. That's all there is to it. Just have your pet out. It does the extra damage from the flow. Your pet just gives more damage to most of your skills. To summarize. Okay. Lightning Blast is one of the few lightning skills in the Awakening Witches kit that actually has a frontal guard on it. Okay. This is a down R&B, and this is a primarily ranged attack. Okay. Okay. Just like that. It is kind of a lingering frontal guard, so you can basically stand at range and use your frontal guards like this. Now, very importantly, we're going to cover Lightning Blast and Barrage of Lightning at the same time. Barrage of Lightning is the skill that everybody loves so much on Witch. It looks the coolest. It's probably my favorite skill to use in the whole kit, aside from maybe the snap on Fisher Wave. I'll go ahead and show it right here. So she Witch charges up like this and then blows up her enemy with a giant bubble. I can hit him from over here like this. Boom. And you can see the big AoE on that. It's also your highest DPSing skill in the kit, probably. It does a massive amount of ranged burst damage. You'll notice, though, it takes a second for it to charge up, though. Okay, so and it does a lot of damage. It does more damage if you slow cast it like that. So if you're standing at range and you really don't have a lot of pressure on you, you can absolutely use the slow cast version of it. However, if you use it after one of your other lightning skills, you can basically just hold down right mouse button. So if I want to use it after Lightning Blast. If I want to use it after Lightning Blast, I just hold down right mouse button, and you'll notice that Barrage of Lightning will instantly cast right after Lightning Blast every time. This is generally the skill that I like to use Barrage of Lightning after, as it is a primarily ranged skill. You can use it after Thunderstorm and things like this, but like, honestly, since Witch is a primarily ranged class, you're going to find yourself using it from range most of the time. Okay, from range most of the time. I do recommend quick casting the skill. Okay, you notice I did use it after Thunderstorm right there. It's doable. Okay, you just have to hold forward right mouse button after Thunderstorm. Okay, so I want a Voltaic, I want a Thunderstorm, forward right mouse button, boom. Instantly uses Barrage of Lightning. That is a lot of burst damage. That is a tremendous amount of burst damage to throw down on someone. It's really good. It's really good. But again, Barrage of Lightning is your highest DPS skill in the kit. It just has a really long cooldown, so just bear that in mind. Okay. All right. Yoke of Ordeal. Oh, this is another amazing skill. You're going bowling. You're going bowling. Okay. And it has a flow called Gore Roll, where Gore literally gets in front of you and you go bowling. Stay right, boys. We love Gore Roll. Gore Roll is probably, if you hit every hit of Gore Roll, it's definitely the highest damage in the kit. I know I just said that about Barrage of Lightning, but Barrage of Lightning basically just connects, does a tremendous amount of damage. But Gore Roll takes a lot longer to cast, and oftentimes in PvP gets you killed if you're not careful. Okay, because it takes a really long time to cast, but it is tremendously satisfying. Tremendously satisfying. Who's he talking to? I'm talking to you, 10. What do you think I'm talking to? Okay, so Gore Roll is a lot of fun to use, but I do recommend putting your back to a wall in PvP if you're going to use it. Okay, so if I wanted to get to my back to that wall there, we would elementalization backwards, and then we would use Gore Roll. Because it is an earth skill, it is a frontal guarded skill. Okay, so it's a really good frontal guard, but frontal guards mean you can be hit from behind, so you really don't want to use it if you're like in the open in PvP. Okay. All right, there are different commands that you can give Gore. Okay. All right, so there's calling command. This basically allows it Gore just follows you around. Okay, Gore just follows you around. This is command attack. Again, I showed you guys command attack before. You just double right click, and then Gore will attack the nearest the target that you told him to. Okay, and keep in mind you do have to tell your pet to attack. He does attack on his own, but it's not like a stiffened situation. Okay, so like if you tell him to go attack them, he will just continue attacking that target. Okay, and it's a really good, again, this is a ranged skill. This is really nice. This is really nice. Okay, so paralysis. Paralysis is probably the best slow skill in the entirety of Black Desert Online. Okay, it is an extremely powerful slow. It is minus 50% move speed, minus 50% cast speed, and minus 50% cast speed. So it's attack, cast, and move speed slow. Point and click. It's unprotected. Autos right there. You see he's got a little animation on him now. That means that paralysis is on him. He's got a little blue electricity field on him. Very, very good slow. Okay, and so like when you're in large scale PvP battles and somebody dives into your offense ball and you're in a safe position, you just toss paralysis on them and you basically cripple their ability to do anything at all. Retardando is a great skill too. Yeah, the Awakening Wizard also has a similar skill. But because Witch is a primarily ranged class, she can get this paralysis off a lot easier than Wizard can. You notice that I can cast it even from all the way over here. So again, most of her skills you can use from range. Okay, her skills are, she's meant to be played as kind of a mid-range caster. Okay, you poke your opponent down, and then when you see your opportunity to strike, then you go in and you follow up with your big voltaic damage with your thunderstorm and whatnot. Toxic Flood is an extremely important skill. This is a ticking poison damage. It's 100 poison damage every 3 seconds for 36 seconds. Yes, that's a lot of damage. 36 seconds of poison damage. Okay. It also does it magic debuffs them by 15. So in PvE, you always want to make sure that you have Toxic Flood out. They fixed the UI on this in a very recent patch, so it will go on to the closest target to your crosshairs. Okay. Yeah, it also has a crazy reach on it, so I can cast it from basically all the way over here. You can see how much damage. The poison is actually still on him. The skill went away, but you can see he's still got a poison on him. 36 seconds. All it's got to do is connect with them one time, and they're getting poisoned for a really long time. Toxic Flood is an amazing skill. When I tell people that I'm setting up shop and I'm letting them come to me, usually I'm throwing out Toxic Flood. Usually I'm throwing out Red Orb, and I'm pulling out Gore, and I'm putting myself in block, and I'm saying, come get it, right? Because at this point, they have to wade through 2 debuffs. We'll get to Red Orb in a second, but they'd have to go through the Toxic Flood and the Red Orb and get super debuffed right as they're coming in, and then they're gonna start getting beaten on by Gore. Okay, so you can see that, again, Awakening Witch is kind of meant to be played as a reactionary character in Black Desert. Okay, you're not really supposed to get crazy aggressive on the Witch unless you know that you have your opponent like weakened in some way. Okay, so Toxic Flood, extremely important. It's important to note that in large scale PvP, Toxic Flood, here, I'll move the chat up real quick. It's important to note that in large scale PvP, Toxic Flood does true damage to structures. Okay, so if you are pushing a base and you need to do recovery center damage or even flame tower damage, you just put out the Toxic Flood and it will true damage tick that structure all the way down. It is extremely effective at killing structures in large scale PvP. Okay, extremely effective. All right. It also is a skill that, again, you want to have this basically all the time. In PvE, you always want to have Toxic Flood down. Basically, when it comes off cooldown. So I recommend putting it on your UI, which we will get to in a moment, since we just got through all the awakening skills with the exception of one, it looks like. That's Toxic Flood there. Okay, then there's Detonative Flow. Detonative Flow is a ranged float, and it has a lot of range. It is not protected, but it is very good. Okay? It's a ranged instantaneous float that you have. It's probably the best initiation skill that you have in the entire kit. Like I said, it's unprotected, so you have to be careful. There is a core for it. You can put the core on Detonative Flow and give it a frontal guard. Not recommended. It's not a lingering frontal guard. It's only like it doesn't even really help you. I find myself getting CC'd out of it more times than not. Even if it does have the frontal guard on it, it kind of just sucks. It kind of just sucks. So like, I don't recommend it. So like, I recommend just using it and then immediately using magical evasion to kind of shorten the gap on the skill. So like, yeah, I'm going to be unprotected when I cast Detonative Flow, but then I immediately use magical evasion, which puts me in a super armor. So I myself am not vulnerable. The best way to follow up on Detonative Flow is typically Fissure Wave in PvP. So if you land the float from range, you TP in. Whoops. I ultimated him. But yeah, you can TP in and you can follow up with Fissure Wave. Okay, before blasting down all of your biggest damage. Okay, before blasting down all of your biggest damage. Okay. All right. I think we got through basically all of the Awakening Witch's skills here. We'll do the main tree now and all the absolute... this question may come out of nowhere, but what are your thoughts on the... No, I'm not disgranted. No. Okay, so now we have the MMA. All right, so these are your absolute skills. I'm going to be honest with you. Some people choose to hotbar absolute MMA. I don't like doing it. If you hotbar it, you can use it from Awakening, like this. You'll notice I'm standing in Awakening with my Adsphera out like this. Okay. And then if I want to use it, boom, I'm immediately in pre-Awakening. It's just range damage. It's just range damage. It's really not very good in Awakening. I don't recommend using it very much. I don't recommend putting skill add-ons and Awakening on it or anything like that. In Succession, it is much, much better, but we'll get to that when we cover the Succession guide right after this. Okay, so this is absolute concentrated magical arrow. Okay, so like if I use a skill and then I hold left and right mouse button, boom. That right there, that's concentrated magical arrow. Okay. It's a stiffness. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a stiffness in PvE. It's a knockdown in PvE. PvP. I mean PvE. Okay. Stiffness in PvP. Knockdown in PvE. All right. It's not that great. It is one of your ranged skills. It's not really all that great. Okay. It's really not all that great. Okay. Fireball and Fireball Explosion are actually two excellent skills. Again, this kit is primarily ranged, and then your Awakening skills are going to have you getting up close to do the most of your damage. I will say that in your pre-Awakening kit, most of these attacks are ranged, but you're very unprotected. Very, very unprotected in your pre-Awakening kit. So if I want to use Fireball, it's down LMB. And then you would hold right mouse button to do Fireball Explosion. Fireball Explosion is actually really important because it has a knockdown on it in PvP. God damn it. All right, I'm going to move chat up here. I'm tired of this. It has a knockdown on it in PvP. Okay. And it's just the flow after Fireball. So you just down LMB and then just hold right mouse button. Okay. All right, then we have Absolute Meteor Shower. Everybody knows Meteor. Okay. Some people, again, you can put most of these skills on your hotbar. So I can put Meteor on my hotbar and cast it from Awakening if I want to. Okay. So if I'm in Awakening right now, like I am, okay, because you see my balls are out. Okay. I can literally just tap the button on my mouse bar and immediately start casting Meteor. Meteor is a knockdown from range in Awakening. Okay. And it does actually really good damage. Okay. You're what? Oh, she handles her balls way better than most. Okay. Way better than most. I will say one of the worst parts about Awakening Witch, and this is one of the biggest downfalls of the entire kit, is trying to get back into your Awakening form in a protected manner. is very hard. So you can see I have my staff out this time with my dagger. That means I'm in pre-awakening. If I want to get to awakening, there's only 2 or 3 skills that you can really use here. One of them is detonative flow, as we went over before. That's that ranged float. Right? That puts me in awakening, but that is unprotected. Okay? That's unprotected. I don't necessarily recommend doing that. It can get you killed in most cases. I would say that the protected way to get into your awakening form is to just take your pet out. So you see, again, I'm in my staff form right now. If I just hit my pet button, taking your pet out or putting your pet away is a lingering super armor just like that, and it will put you in awakening. Okay? So again, one more time. There's gore, and then I can go straight into my awakening skills. Okay? Very seamlessly. So that's really the only protected swap that you're going to get in the entire kit. So just bear that in mind. You can switch to pre-awakening and stay protected, but getting back into awakening from pre-awakening is cumbersome. It's usually unprotected, and it's really annoying. It's very difficult. Very difficult. So just bear that in mind. If you're going to use your pre-awakening kit, it might be difficult to get back into awakening. You might get punished in PvP. So absolute lightning chain. No one ever really uses this, but you can actually find stealth units. So if I do this, it will actually hit ninjas and kunos in stealth around me, and it will take them out of stealth. And it will take them out of stealth. I'm pretty sure it's also a stiffen. Yeah, it's a stiffen. It stiffens them straight out of their stealth. So if you know a ninja or kuno just went into stealth around you, or you want to check your offense ball, you can literally just shift right mouse button, and you can hold this down forever to make sure that your boys are safe. Okay? That's usually what that skill is used for in large-scale PvP. In PvE, this is an excellent leeching, or like pulling skill, so you can pull mobs with it. Because you see how the lightning chains itself to nearby enemies? It will do that in PvE, so at history and stuff, you can actually pull mobs together really easily. Are you gonna post this to guide as a YouTube? You bet your sweet bippies I am. I'm gonna do Succession right after this too. Okay. Okay, so this is the follow-up to lightning. Okay, you have to press left and right mouse button while you're using lightning chain. Usually people do this really fast. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, so you don't really want to use this. This skill is unprotected, right? And I already went through its uses. But, like, you really don't want to just stand here and do this, okay? But this skill does a load of damage. This skill does actually, like, Absolute Lightning Storm is actually a great ranged skill. Does really good damage. It's also a stiffness on hit, okay? So, like, bam. And you can blast them with it. And it's a stiffen, okay? Really, really good range pressure. And it's also a stiffen. Useless? Actually not useless. Can witch 1v1? It can. Not well, but it can. It's not particularly great at 1v1ing, but it is, like, it can do it. It's one of the worst 1v1 classes in the game. I would say as far as 1v1 classes go, I would say Shy is at the very bottom, followed by Awakening Witch just above Shy. And honestly, sometimes Shy is better in 1v1s because they can put on their DP set and then break all your armor and kill you. It takes a really long time, but believe it or not, that strategy actually works. Awakening Witch can do no such thing. Can do no such thing. Yeah, let me do this. Can it 1v1 my Drac? Not a chance. Not a chance. In most 1v1s, guys, you just... the strategy that I like to do, and make sure that you focus on this, is that you hit escape, you disconnect, and then this little button right here, I find it's really good to combo this with a server swap. Okay? Like, as quickly as you can. Honestly, if you leave your server in the top right corner of your screen, like this, you can actually just reach up and click it before they even have time to kill you. And if you get really fast at it, they hit you, you can V, and you can actually swap servers before they can even kill you. So, like, that's basically the Awakening Witch strategy whenever somebody walks onto your rotation. Okay? You just hit V, and then you swap servers as quickly as you can. All right? It's really effective. It's really effective. Blue versus Goon PvE. Exactly. Exactly. This is Freeze. Freeze is a ranged, freeze. It's one of the only freezes in the entire game, guys. Our donations off. $6.90 said Elden Ring stream was goated. I don't watch Twitch that much, but it was maybe the funniest stream I've ever watched for hours. Thanks a lot for making us laugh every day on Twitch and YouTube. No problem, buddy. It's going to go up on YouTube as like it's going to be cut up. and put into like there's gonna be like a highlights reel, and then there's gonna be another thing, and then we're gonna keep playing Elden Ring every week until we beat it, hopefully. And so like it's gonna be like this whole playthrough series, and I'm sure that you guys are absolutely gonna love it. I appreciate the donation, buddy. There's more to come. Yeah, it's one of the only freezes in the whole game. Okay, so make sure that you utilize this every once in a while. Freeze does give your opponent DR, as far as we are aware, but like it's the longest CC in the entire game. Okay, so if I freeze this guy, look at this, and then he's on the ground, and then he stands up. Okay, so the CC, so generally in BDO, the CC does not start until you hit the ground. Okay, so when you freeze somebody, there you can hit them right now, and then they have to fall down, and then they fall down for a full second, and then they stand back up. It is an extremely effective CC if you can catch people with it. It's very difficult to weave into your skills because it is unprotected, but it's really, really good. So you'll notice that there is 1v1 potential here, but there's a lot of gaps here because in order to go into your pre-awakening, you have to be unprotected for most of it. So just bear this in mind. If you're not playing Suck, it doesn't matter main skills, but you do have to explain them so that people understand that they're usable. Okay, I'll explain that kind of at the end though. Okay, so there's freeze. Okay, extremely good, but like it does almost no damage. Okay, it does like very little damage. Really, you're just trying to catch them with a stray CC here. And again, this is just another ranged skill that you can use. It's unprotected, so bear that in mind. Frigid Fog. This is a skill that I like to have on my hotbar. This is really good at catching people. Okay, so if I'm in Awakening and I need to get to pre-awakening, or I know usually I use this skill when there's a ninja or something floating around me like crazy, and there's a Kuno or there's a Dark Knight, and I know they're trying to get in behind me. Usually what they're doing, they know, okay, your opponents know that you are a primarily frontal guarded class. Okay, so what they're gonna try to do is they're gonna try to jump right in behind you. Usually if there was a ninja right here, I would expect him to try to jump right on me just like this. Okay, the reason Frigid Fog is really good is because it's a Giga Chad way of catching people. They're gonna wait for you to use Voltaic, they're gonna wait for you to use Thunderstorm, and then you can bait. You hit him with Frigid Fog, and that is a freeze. It is a super armored instantaneous freeze. Okay, it does put you in pre-awakening, but it's an excellent catch. Okay, so this is one of the skills that I do put on my hotbar as a pre-awakening to awakening swap. You can see it's right here on my number 7. I have it hotkeyed to my mouse buttons. I also have detonated flow on my hotbar as well. You can see this is this forward F skill, that ranged float that we talked about. I really like having that on the hotbar so I don't accidentally hit F instead. Okay, but that's Frigid Fog, and it's really, really good at catching people. It's not necessarily a lingering skill, so you need to bear that in mind. Almost nothing in the pre-awakening kit is actually lingering at all if it has any sort of protection on it, so just bear that in mind. All right, next up we have the Blizzard, which is kind of the iconic skill that Wizard and Witch have basically across all games. In awakening form, Blizzard is a ranged skill, and it slows people, I think, by 50%. 40%. Nope. I'm pretty sure it's a 50% slow across the board. Okay, and it's got a big AoE on it. It's got a big AoE, and you can turn the skill while you're casting it. You can turn the skill while you're casting it. It is completely unprotected while you are casting it. While it's charging up, before you actually click the button to use it, it is frontal guarded. And I'll show you again when it comes off cooldown. I'll show you again what I mean. So in this animation right here, before the skill actually starts casting, it is frontal guarded. After you start casting it, it is no longer protected. Meteors is very similar. So Meteor, you see it's a frontal guard while it's charging up like this. And if I don't left mouse button, right now the skill is charged and it's ready. You can see my stamina bar ticking down like this. I am frontal guarded. I can just hold this as long as I want. But the second that I tap left mouse button, it drops the meteor and I am unprotected. Okay, it's the same thing for Blizzard. Okay, so you charge the skill up with Shift LMB RMB. Okay, and then you could just sit there. Okay, it's gonna sap your stamina slowly over time, but you could just sit there in frontal guard if you wanted to. But the second you hit LMB to actually cast the skill, you're unprotected and the skill starts rolling. Okay, yeah, it's an excellent slow. It's an excellent slow. But you only really can use it in large scale PvP, and you can only use it when you're really, really protected, standing on a rooftop like a virgin. Okay, so Absolute Earthquake. This is basically just a super armor. I don't recommend using this skill except when you need a lingering super armor at close range. So if I want to stand in full super armor the whole time, I would do Voltaic, Thunderstorm, Frigid Fog, Earthquake. You see how long Earthquake animation is? Quick Earthquake, okay, and then you can TP away. All right, but that's all super armored. Keep in mind, Earthquake sucks. Okay, it sucks. When you talk about super armored skills, there's a certain amount of damage reduction that is on super armored skills so that you can trade with them. For example, Voltaic Pulse. When you're using Voltaic Pulse, it's super armored. You can't be CC'd. But if somebody tries to trade damage into you, you have a ton of extra DR. It doesn't actually show on your stats bar, but you have a ton of extra DR, so you're gonna feel really tanky when you're in Awakening using Voltaic, using Thunderstorm, okay? When you're in pre-Awakening and you use Earthquake, you have no DR. None. No maidens, no bitches, no DR, nothing, okay? So, like, when you use it, you're probably gonna die, okay? If you stand here and try to tank damage, you're probably gonna die, especially if you turn it. Especially if you turn it. You want to make sure that you're to mitigate the amount of damage that you take during Earthquake. You want to make sure that you're always trying to face your opponent. Okay, I'm waiting for it to come off cooldown, but like you can turn the skill mid skill, and the reason that you do this is so they can't back attack you while you're in the skill because it has very low DR on the skill. You don't want them to get back attack damage too. That's just going to further amplify the amount of damage that they're able to do to you. You always want to make sure that you can turn this skill the whole time that you're using it. Always make sure that your enemies are in front of you to mitigate that incoming damage. So just bear that in mind. You can do the same thing with the quick Earthquake from your Rabam. Okay. Mostly Mischief with the brand new Prime sub. Thanks so much, man. Nothing makes me wetter than a brand new Prime sub. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Earthquake does have a stiffen on it, I believe. Yeah. It's a stiffen in PvP and a stiffness in PvE. You're not using this in PvE. Don't even consider it. It's terrible. Okay. So in PvP, it is a stiffness. It's only a stiffness on one of the hits, though. It used to be a stiffness on every single hit, and that made it really good at catching ninjas and stuff. So like every single hit of this skill, boom, 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 boom. If your enemy was unprotected at any point throughout any of that, it would catch them with a stiffen. It was really good at catching ninjas. It's really good at catching Dark Knights. It's really good at catching Kunos, good at catching Lons, things like this. But like, sadly, it isn't that anymore, so you can still try to catch people with it. It's just really tough. And then if you try to trade with it at close range, you're going to take a lot of damage. So just bear that in mind. This is Earth's response. This is a short-range float. Okay? Yo, Reclaw! With the gifted subbed onto Amahi. Thanks so much, Reclaw. I really appreciate that, man. Amahi, welcome to the squadron. Thank you, Reclaw, for supporting me. This is the Giga Chad follow-up skill. Okay, no one ever really uses this at all. Okay, but this is a Giga Chad follow-up skill. All right, so you just... It floats people. It's an unprotected float, but it still floats people. Okay, it's very close range. It's got a really small hitbox on it. Okay, so like if I do this right here, okay, it barely hits him. It barely hits him. But like it's just not very consistent. It's unprotected. It's really difficult to use properly. You see how it looks like it hits him there, but it doesn't actually hit him. Okay. Also, magical evasion. If you're an awakening witch and you try to use your magical evasion in pre-awakening, it is not protected. Not protected. But if you use it in awakening, protected. At least when it's off cooldown. All right. Earth Interruption. This is your Magnus skill, and it is very, very good. Okay, you get 20 DP while you're using the skill for 10 seconds. So again, it helps you trade at close range. It's got pretty good DR on its super armor. This is probably the only skill in the kit, or at least in the pre-awakening aspect of your kit, that is actually worth using for damage. It's worth using for like a super armor trade. It has no CC on it, so it's basically just a DPS skill, but it's really, really good. It's really, really good. So you just hit tap F. She stabs the staff into the ground. boom, and everything explodes around you. It does a really good amount of damage. You can use that in PvE as well. It's really good, but you don't really use that in PvE on Awakening Witch. I'll get into that, a little bit of that in a second, because you just don't need to. You never really want to leave Awakening, especially in PvE. So like, you can use Earth and Eruption, but like, and it's a really good skill, but you really don't need to. A lot of people choose to put Earth and Eruption on their hotbar. Again, I like to have Frigid Fog on my hotbar because it's a CC, and I feel it's a better catch when I'm fighting against flanking rat classes. Okay, so now we're going to move down into the utility skills. On Awakening Witch, your teleports are connected together, okay? Blue, what was your AOS rank? I didn't play AOS. Just have both, sir. Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Like, I did my placements for AOS and won like 8 of the 10 placements and then just stopped. I just didn't care. Awakening Witch in AOS, guys, just so you're aware, is probably the worst class in the game for AOS. It's either the worst class or it's like the 3rd worst class. Archer and Ranger are also very bad. Awakening Witch is probably better than those 2 classes specifically, but like, aside from that, it's really, really bad. So like, AOS is not going to be a super fun time for you, unless you go like a super tanky build and try to meme on people. People are just going to grab you. It feels really bad. I appreciate you staring at me. I didn't mean to interrupt. Wanted to look good at the ball. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to find a good tank support class in the game. Any suggestions? Okay, so I'm going to get into the build path that I do for this. I have several build paths that I do for Awakening Witch, and I will explain my tank build path for this as well. But first, we're going to go through the secondary skills, guys. You have your teleports. In Awakening, your teleports are connected. Okay, so if you use teleport, so you can see the way I have my UI laid out, guys, is all of my movement skills are down here. Okay, all of my utility skills are on this right side here. So this is PA, this is Healing Lighthouse, this is Speed Spell, this is Rabam Heal, and this is Magical Shield. Okay. And then over here, you can see that I have all of my different Awakening skills and Toxic Flood, so that I know when they're all off cooldown. Okay. This doesn't really need to be here anymore, but I have it here because it's a Giga Chad move. Because that means that I've been playing Awakening Witch for a really long time. Because typically you can't actually put that on your hotbar anymore since they changed it. But aside from that, I basically just have all my DPS skills here. You see Lightning Blast is right next to Barrage of Lightning, as we discussed before, because I like to use those 2 skills together. And there's Meteor right there. I don't have Blizzard on my hotbar because I don't use Blizzard very frequently. It's very infrequent. Okay. Okay. All right, but that's kind of how I have my UI laid out. But we're looking at the teleports now, so we're looking at the bottom row. Okay. So if I use my first teleport, I cannot use the second teleport. You see, I'm trying to hit my spacebar right now. I cannot use that second teleport there. If I want to use the second teleport, I have to have both of them off cooldown. So you can cover twice the distance, but you have to know what you're doing. You just hold it down. Okay, you'll notice that both TPs were used there. Okay. You can mouse move your teleport. Okay. Oh shit, bro. I don't think I have my mouse, but I don't think I have my mouse to move set up here. I don't have my mouse to move set up. Typically, I have my mouse to move set up for this. There you go. You see how you can change directions in the middle of the skill. And if you get really good at this, you can actually TP around behind somebody. You can basically go from being right here. And in Succession, I will show you how to do this. In Succession, you have to use mouse to move effectively. In Awakening, you don't need mouse to move at all. It's really not very good. And the reason is, yes, if you TP in a circle here like that, like I just did right there, you'll notice that like that will catch people by surprise. Okay, and you can immediately try to go for a voltaic. The problem is now you can't get out of here. Okay, you only have one teleport, and then you have to plant your feet. Okay, that's it. There is no other movement. You are stuck here now. So most people do not try to do this. Okay, where you're trying to like mouse move your TP, get in behind someone to bamboozle them, because if they catch you and they say, oh, if they aren't fooled by that, you're dead. You are super dead. Okay. So most people are not going to do that. Usually when you want to turn your teleport, you can basically just TP and then turn your camera. Okay. You can very easily just turn your camera to turn your teleport mid TP. Okay. It's super easy. Most people do not use the mouse move function, but it is there, right? I can mouse move it just like that. It's doable. It's just, not very practical, and you don't see, even high-end witches don't do that very often in Awakening, just because, again, it's your only movement skill. Well, one of your only movement skills, as we will get into in a moment. I don't think we went over elementalization. Where's that at? Oh, it's over here. Oh, I didn't cover elementalization. I'll cover that real quick. This is your back E, okay? And it moves you back very quickly. It is unprotected at the end of the skill, but you can start casting skills immediately. So, yeah, that kind of covers, like, the TP and stuff. Elementalization is a really good skill. It's on a 7-second cooldown, and what you're using this on is, like, you go in, okay, and this is your only way of backing up, right? This is your only way of backing up. Okay, so if I have all my movement skills off cooldown, I want to TP. Okay, let's TP in. Oh, let's get our damage down. Boom. All right, let's elementalization. Let's get out of here. Okay, let's magical evasion backwards, and then let's TP back out again. So you can get yourself back out, but you really need to be pumping. Like, you need to be actually casting all the time. Elementalization is good, but, like, you basically have to use everything in your kit just to back up and right the mistake that you just made. Okay, so once you're in on Awakening Witch, you're probably staying in until everyone else is dead or you are. Okay, so when you go in, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to kill everything. Okay, or that it's going to be fat. Okay, one of the two. All right. All right, Mass Teleport. This skill I usually have on the number 8 key. This is a great, you can use this in Awakening. Okay, this will teleport nearby party members with you. All right, so, like, if you have party or platoon members next to you, they will come with you. Okay, it's very important that you make sure you try to get every single archer. So if I want to go in, and if I want to try to hit that guy over there, way over here, okay, I can mass TP my way in there. Okay, usually what you do is you want to, it's kind of a delivery drop-off system. You jump in, you see a berserker on the ground, you're like, I need to help the homie. You TP in, and then you grab him with mass TP like this, and then you TP him back out again, and it will drop him here. Okay, you can make some pretty cool plays with this. In AOS, it's probably one of the better skills. It's really cool. It's really cool. You can also troll the shit out of people with it. Okay, because they don't know where they're going and they definitely aren't going to expect it. It's got a really long cooldown on it though, and understand that it has a debuff on the skill. So once you use it, you can't use it again, or you can't get mass TP by somebody else for another like 2 minutes, I think it is. Maybe minute 90 seconds, something like that. So like once somebody gets mass TP, they can't be mass TP'd again for another like minute and a half or so. It does have a really long cooldown on it. Like I think it's got, oh, what's the cooldown? 3 minutes. It's got a 3-minute cooldown on it. But usually what people use mass teleport for is a really long iframe. This is a really, really long iframe. If you TP in, okay, and you realize, oh shit, I am in deep trouble right now, you can just tap mass teleport, aim your TP, and get out. No matter how low on health you are, no matter how debuffed you are, it doesn't matter. It's an instant iframe, and it lasts for like 4 or 5 seconds, and it also TPs you out of trouble. It is kind of a get out of jail free card for yourself. It's not super useful in large scale PvP because, like, let's be honest, you're not really around your party or platoon members very often. It's difficult to use properly. However, doable. But usually what you're going to see most witches and wizards use this skill for is a get out of jail free card for themselves. Very selfish use of this skill to make sure that you can get out, because witches' mobility is just not there. So that's mass teleport. And again, most people are using this as just a 4 or 5 second iframe that gets them out of trouble. Okay. Dagger stab. You just want to lock this skill. If I'm being honest, this is an old skill. This is a super old skill, and you can't even really use it anymore. I think they've forgotten about it. If I'm being honest, it's supposed to be command input F. Okay, but you'll notice that Earth and Eruption is command input F. And the developers have actually forgotten, as of the day of this video, October 21st, 2023, they have not actually bound Dagger Stab to any other ability, but witches haven't actually told them because we just don't care. Okay? You can put it on your hotbar if you actually do want to use it. It's a super meme. If you Dagger Stab someone to death, it's probably the most BM skill that you can probably use in the entire kit. If you kill someone with Dagger Stab, they never mentally, physically, or emotionally recover from that damage. So, like, just bear that in mind. It's really good at chat PvP. Magical Shield. This is an incredible skill, especially in AOS. Okay? When you are ready to go in and pound some serious ass, you always use Magical Shield. You'll notice it gives you 30% resistances across the board. All resistances plus 30%. Okay? So, like, it's basically a free get out of jail free card. Okay? However, the most important thing is that instead of, so your MP, your magic, your mana actually becomes part of your health bar. So instead of taking health damage, your mana will take damage instead. Okay, so you effectively become a hell of a lot tankier when you use Magical Shield. Now, what happens with a lot of people is inevitably they use Magical Shield, they go in, okay, and then they take a lot of damage, their mana goes straight to 0, okay, and then they can't use any skills, and they die. So bear in mind that, like, it can get you killed. Okay, you have a little pulsating thing around you with Magic Shield, that's the animation for it, okay? So, like, when you use it, just understand that they changed to teleport so that you can actually use teleport without actually using any mana. So if you watch my mana here, teleport does not actually use any mana. So if you use Magic Shield, generally speaking, you want to run at your opponent and then start casting skills. All right, and the second that you lose all your mana, then you can TP back out again. Okay, or you can TP in, try to use a full super armor combo, and then TP back out again. Because again, it doesn't require any mana to use teleport. So that's Magic Shield. Really good, but you need to understand that it's got a 1 minute cooldown. This is a 1 minute cooldown, and the buff only lasts for 30 seconds. Okay? So, like, there's going to be a 30-second gap, especially in AOS, when you're in 3v3s or 1v1s. You need to try to use Magical Shield right before you think that you're going to have to engage. Okay? Like, you don't just want to come out and use it right at the start of the round, because, see, then you're going to waste it. Okay? So, like, and if they're a good player, like if you're fighting Armin or Yellow, or you're like a high elo, they're going to wait out your Magic Shield, because it's very difficult to engage on a staff that has Magic Shield running. Okay, and it's really easy to kind of play around it if they know that you have it. Okay, so make sure that you're only using Magic Shield right when you're about to go in. It's very important. Second time viewer in are already loving the hype teaching methods, straight to the point. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, no, it'll be in a YouTube guide. It'll be even more condensed and like nice and clean as well. Okay, let's look at mana absorption. They've changed this skill about 3 or 4 times. It's a frontal guard now. And you can use it after using other skills. So, like, yeah, if you just hit spacebar after other skills in pre-awakening, it is a frontal guard. No one really uses this. That's what it looks like right there. I just used it right there. You can use it while you're mounted. It's kind of just whatever. You do move speed slow your opponent when you hit them with this. So if you're in pre-awakening, it is one of your few protected pre-awakening skills. And so you can use it after pretty much every other skill in your kit. If I want to use it after Fireball. See? And like, so if somebody gets really close to you, you can use it as an impromptu frontal guard that will slow them. It's not a bad use there. It's not a bad use there. Usually you're sapping. This is one of the only skills in the game that actually takes the enemy's mana from them. You literally get 30% of your mana back, and you take 30% of their mana from them. And it's a 50% move speed slow. So it's a good skill. Difficult to actually land, though. Is Witch good overall? I'm new to the game. Oh yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, it's solid. It's really solid. I do exclamation point choose class. I did like a 2-minute like breakdown on every single class and spec in the game for like everything a new player might need to know in a 2-minute timeline for every single class in the game. So like I recommend checking that out. It's really fun. It'll help you choose your class more effectively. Okay, so that's mana absorption. I'm here from YouTube. Love the content. Thank you. That means a lot because we invest a lot of time and effort into YouTube. God bless it. Okay, resurrection. This is useless. You can resurrect allies, but it's super buggy. You can raise people from the grave. Okay, it's just really buggy and it very rarely works. Okay, and like it doesn't work during large scale PvP. It doesn't work in any sort of PvP combat for the most part, unless it's open world. It's just it just doesn't work very well, and they haven't actually fixed it or touched it in years. So like I don't recommend necessarily using this skill. You can try if your friend dies in the dungeon or something. You can try to use resurrection and it might work 50-50. Whether or not it actually works. Are you making a witch guide? Yes, that's what this is. Yep, we're finally getting around to it. Here's the speed spell right here. This is the skill that people absolutely love. So people have shy buffs. People talk about shy buffs all the time. Really, they're looking for the attack cast speed buff from the shy buff. Witch has a very similar skill, but it's not quite as good. Okay, speed spell gives you and all of your surrounding allies 20% move speed, 20% attack speed, and 20% cast speed. Okay, so it is crazy good, especially when you're moving from point A to point B. You can actually get people there way faster using speed spell. Okay, as of a recent update, you can actually use speed spell from awakening, and this is the most important part. The worst part about speed spell before is you had to get into pre-awakening to use it, which is unprotected. Then you had to get back into awakening, which, as I said, was like really clunky and it's difficult to do. Now you can use speed spell from awakening just like this. You'll notice that I am still in awakening. The speed spell went out. I have the buff on my bar here. Okay, and it buffs all your allies around you. This is definitely one of the skills you absolutely need to have this on your hotbar. Under no, you must have this on your hotbar. Okay, this new skill buff. No, well, this is it's a quality of life update. It got a quality of life update recently, so you don't have to leave awakening to get speed spell off. Okay. Can the mana stolen at 30% cleave and take 30% of each enemy's hit? It doesn't do any HP damage to them. Well, I mean, it does a little bit of damage, but really it's just getting your mana. It saps their mana to your mana, and it slows them. That's basically. Is this guide going to be on YouTube? Yes, and so is the Succession guide, which we're going to go over next. Okay, so that's speed spell. Incredible skill. 1 minute cooldown, 20-second buff. Okay. I'm pretty sure it is 20 seconds, right? 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30-second buff. 30-second buff. Okay. But it's got a 50-second cooldown. I consider it a 1 minute cooldown. It's technically 50 seconds. It's easier for me to remember if it's 1 minute. It's technically a 50-second cooldown. But this is the reason you need to make sure you're speed spelling your allies in AOS. In large scale PvP, you are spamming this skill all the time. People love this. So Mana Shield, as we just talked about, you always put this on your hotbar. Okay. Mana Shield is over here on my hotbar. I have it on the number 0. Okay, but that's actually a mouse button for me. Okay. So if I'm in awakening right now. You can see because she's handling her balls very nicely. Okay. If I hit 0, you can see that she's still in awakening, and now she's got all of the buffs from Mana Shield. Okay. She's still got all of the buffs from Mana Shield. Okay. If I use speed spell as well, again, we're still in awakening, and she's got the speed spell as well. Okay. So like these are very important buffs. You use these before you engage every single time. Every single time you take your pet out, you make sure you use these skills. Now we're going to look at the heals. This is Healing Aura. Okay. Healing Aura is just your E. All right. I actually put this on my hotbar as well. And you absolutely need to make sure this is on your hotbar. Okay. Healing Aura is on my number 3 over here. Okay. All right. You can use Healing Aura. It heals 1 ally. It heals yourself and 1 ally for 20% of their health bar. Okay. So if I wanted to walk up, if he was in a party with me, I could just hit the number 3 and I toss out a baby heal. Okay. So if there's one person that happens to be low health in your ball, but you don't want to use your big heal, you can use this Healing Aura, and you can use it from awakening as long as it's on your hotbar, and you will stay in awakening. Just like that. You will stay in awakening. Okay. So you can toss out that baby heal. You can also heal yourself with it. Okay. It heals yourself and 1 ally. It's very, very good. Very, very good. That's Healing Aura. This is Healing Lighthouse. Okay. Shift E is Healing Lighthouse. Okay. My Healing Lighthouse is on my number 2. They look very similar. Okay. This one's got a heart in it. This one's got a heart in it. Okay. So if I want to hit that, I can use it from awakening, but it does bring you into pre-awakening. Okay. It does bring you into pre-awakening. So right here, it's going to heal myself and all surrounding allies. You can see that pulsating effect. It's got a pretty big range. It's got a 30-second cooldown. Okay. It heals a lot. They keep changing it. It heals 1,500 for yourself and 1,000 to nearby allies, and it ticks 3 times. So it's 3,000 health to all of your nearby allies. Okay. You also get some MP back when you use the skill as well. It's like 450 MP or something. Yeah, it's 150 MP per tick. Okay. So you heal yourself for 1,500 per tick. That's for 4,500 HP for yourself, 3,000 for allies. Okay. And it's got a really big AoE. So this is like one of your big go-to heal skills. Okay. Healing Lighthouse is really big. It is really slow to cast. And one positional thing that yeah, I'll cover it right now. So if your allies are out in front of you, okay, most wizards and witches that are bad will do this. Okay. Let's say that the fight is going on top of these dummies right here. Okay. Let's say the fight is going on right here. All right. And we need to get a heal off, and we are over here. Most wizards and witches will TP all the way in to the middle of these two guys and then drop their healing lighthouse like this. This is quite possibly the stupidest position that you could be standing in. This is a completely unprotected skill that you have to cast for the next 2 to 3 seconds. You're probably dead. If the enemies are good at all, you're probably dead. Realistically speaking, if you need to get a heal off and they are standing where that dummy is, you need to TP to a reasonable distance, like right here. Okay? And this is where you would drop your heal. Okay? You do not need to be in the middle, everyone. Your heal is ranged. Bam, bam, bam. You are at safe distance right here, and if anyone tries to hit you, you can transition immediately. Well, that was my ultimate, but like, fuck it. You can transition immediately into a frontal guard, elementalization your way back out, and then magical evasion, put yourself in block, and you can stay protected. You do not want to TP and heal like you just dive bomb heal people. That's what the bad staffs do. Bad staffs do that. Good staffs understand how to position properly when they're gonna go heal somebody. Okay? It should not be a suicide run. Should not be a suicide run. Okay? Sometimes you can't help it, and there is a way to get in and pop a heal quickly, which I will get into when I get to Rabam heal here in a moment. But that's healing lighthouse right there. Protected area is the best skill in your kit. This is why everyone wants wizards and witches. This skill is the shit. This is super good. People call this PA for short. Okay, so they say PA1 right now, or PA right now, PA right now. They're talking about this skill right here. Okay, this is protected area. It is Shift Q. I have it on my hotbar. Or no, I don't have it on my hotbar, but I have it. I have it on my my UI, so I can see the cooldown on it. Okay, it's a 2.5 minute cooldown. Okay, and it gives all of your allies 50%, not 50, 50% damage reduction for 8 seconds. It essentially makes them almost invincible for 8 seconds right before the start of the fight. Okay, right before the start of the fight. So if I want to do it right now, there's PA right there. You saw the big orb bubble that kind of happened when I used the skill. And then you can see the skill right here, 50% DR to all of my allies in the circle. Okay. Also to note, everybody gets debuffed. Okay. Everybody gets a 1 minute debuff, meaning no one can get PA for 1 minute after they have first received it. Okay. This is for our own safety. It also means that if you accidentally cast PA, you can get everyone killed. If you use PA before the engage actually happens, or the shot caller actually calls for PA, and then he calls for PA, and everyone uses PA, no one's getting it. No one's gonna get it because you're an idiot, and you got the whole guild killed because you cast it too early. Okay? So, like, bear this in mind. It can be the best skill in the game. It can be the worst skill in the game when in the hands of stupid people. Okay? All right? So you need to use PA very, very intelligently. Especially in 1v1s, PA can actually save your life. It's kind of cheeky to use it in 1v1s, but fuck it, you don't care. Like if you're trading with like a Musa or a Dracania or any of those heavy hitter like super armor classes, I use PA to trade with them. Like they're like, why am I not doing any damage? Eat my ass. Okay? Protected area is an excellent skill. Okay, so you need to make sure you know how to use it. Spellbound Heart in Awakening is no longer an actual skill. This is just attached to your pet now. So if as long as you have your pet out, you have 250 MP regen every 10 seconds, and you have 10% move speed. Okay, so my pet is out right now, and so I used to notice it has 10% move speed and 250 MP recovery. Yet another reason to make sure that your pet is out all the time. Okay, you need to make sure it's out all the time because it's super buffing all your skills. You're doing way more damage. You have slows on things. You have extra hits on things. You have 10% attack speed, or your 10% cast speed. I mean move speed. Bleh. And then you get MP recovery as well. Okay, so this skill is actually just attached to your pet in Awakening. This is your red orb. Magic Lighthouse is probably the #1 reason why Witch is the safest class in the game for PvE. Okay, the #1 reason, because when you use red orb, it pulses like that and all of the mobs turn to hit that red orb. Everything turns to hit that thing. Okay, just about. There are very few exceptions. Right here, that thing right there. Okay, there are very, very few exceptions. Okay, so basically all you do in PvE is you just throw the red orb out and then step away from the red orb. All the mobs hit that and you just back attack damage all the mobs. You're not at risk at all. They're not going to hit you. It doesn't matter. right? Like, it's super easy. Okay, and then if they do try to hit you, you just magical evasion around, because again, it's in an iframe in PvE. No problem. So you have red orb, and it's also a DP debuff. I believe it debuffs 10 DP. It's 15 DP for 10 seconds. So like, it's always pulsating around you. Okay, again, red orb aggroes all the enemies in an area, and like, so they all turn to hit the one red orb, and you never have to worry about dying in PvE for the most part. Okay, there are some mobs and bosses in the game that do not get aggroed with red orb. I will say that in PvP, red orb is also really good. Dan the idiot? No, he's just messing around. So you can put a red orb and toxic flood. Okay, and you double down on your so if somebody wants to attack you, they have to step through big DP debuffs, 15 from the red orb, and then another 15 from the other orb, and this helps you trade extremely efficiently against your opponents. Okay, especially against non-grab classes like a Musa. So if the Musa wants to come in on you, you can't catch the Musa. All right, the Musa has to come to you. Okay, so you put red orb out, you put toxic flood out, and you sit in block and you wait. Okay, the Musa's gonna come in on you, bam, and you just blast them with your close range damage. Okay, Musa's actually a pretty good matchup for Awakening Witch, all things considered. I mean, yeah, you're still probably gonna lose, but like, there are definitely things that you can do about it. I'll get into that when we talk about like the 1v1 matchups a little bit later in the guide here. But like, red orb can be used in PvP. It is unprotected though, just like toxic flood is, so just be mindful of that. In PvE, again, you want to use it to basically group mobs together, hop in behind the mobs, and kill them all. It's really effective. Okay, here's Sage's Memory. This is an important skill that most people don't even know that Witch actually has. Okay, this is your ace in the hole. This isn't it. When you cast this, everything in your kit, it's got a 3.5 minute cooldown, but every single skill in your kit instantly casts. There is no more cast time anymore. Everything is instant cast for the next 5 seconds. Okay, 15 seconds for the next 15 seconds. So for me, I have this on my hotbar right there. Okay, I have it on my number 5. Okay, because it's literally that important. In large scale PvP, this is incredibly important. You're walking along, you're walking along, you're walking along. Oh, I see a bunch of enemies. Hit the number 5. Instant cast Meteor. Instant cast Blizzard. Instant cast Heal. Right? Like, all of these things instantly cast. Everything instant cast. It's way faster. Way faster. It's really good at catching people. It's good at catching people off guard. It's your ace in the hole for just about everything. It's really clean. And you want to use it basically all the time in large scale PvP to try to catch your opponents. Okay? In 1v1s, you're only really going to get to use it one time because it's got such a long cooldown. So just bear that in mind. Okay, we went over magical evasion. It's an iframe in PvE, but like, you really don't want to use the pre-awakening version because it's never a super armor. It's never protected. But it is an iframe in PvE. Okay, but if you use it in awakening, it's way cooler because your cape actually swishes out behind you like that. You see, like, so if you do it backwards, it's whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's just cooler. Okay, it's just way cooler. Also, it's a super armor when it's off cooldown. Like that in awakening, but not in pre-awakening. Okay, wonder if Richard knows this. Highly doubt. Highly doubt. Okay, mind training. This is your passive. It gives you AP and cast speed. Okay, AP and cast speed, and you really want to max this out. Which scales off of cast speed, not attack speed. Every class in the game scales off either attack speed or cast speed. Okay, you could get 50% attack speed on a witch and it would matter for nothing. Okay, because all of your skills are based on cast speed. Okay, a lot like Valkyries. So like, cast speed percentage is extremely important, so your passive should be prioritized. So like, when you're skilling up early on, if you're a brand new witch and you're looking at this, take all of your awakening skills first, and then you come down and you take these skills here, and then you take your passive, and then you can start skilling into this stuff here. Okay, Earth and Eruption probably first, but like, your passive is really good. Magic power boost, this is just AP plus 20, no big deal. Infinite mastery, every class has this. It's just HP and accuracy rate. Skilled hunter gives you 8 AP against mobs. Special attack damage, that you get this when you hit level 62. You get 1% special attack damage, so you literally just do more damage to everything. Down here at the very bottom are all of the different node war skills, but some people don't even know these exist. Okay. I have ranged evasion rate plus 1%, so I have 5% ranged evasion rate. That's the one that I choose to take, although I will say that I changed this around quite a bit. So I changed this around quite a bit depending on how I feel the fight is going to go and what composition we are fighting. But like, I'm an evasion build, and so like I feel like having more evasion rate is good. Melee evasion rate is also really good. This is magic evasion rate over here. That's like less good. Not every skill. You need to understand, magic evasion rate will only pertain to magic classes, but ranged evasion rate really only pertains to ranged classes. But like, it's probably going to be more effective because there's always going to be archers and rangers, right? This is melee evasion rate. This is also a really good one. I recommend this one if you're fighting against a heavily frontline composition. Or like in T1s, this is really good. In T1s, the melee evasion rate is really solid, although it kind of caps you out. So like, you're probably already going to be at it, but that's okay. Is there such a thing as too high of evasion when they're not hitting you anymore? So no. Knight's defense, this is melee DP plus 5, so this is like DR stuff, range DR, and then this is magic DR, right? So again, I take just the ranged evasion rate because I'm an evasion build. These are only used in Node Wars, correct? These are only used in Node Wars. Yeah, no, you can stack evasion infinitely and always have it help you. Okay. All right, let's go over skill add-ons, I suppose. So this is for PvE. These are my PvE add-ons, and this is probably as good as it gets for PvE. Okay. On equilibrium break, you put accuracy rate and critical hit rate. Okay. Fisher Wave, this is the very important one. You're spamming this when it's off cooldown every time in PvE. Fisher Wave, so good. You put your AP to mobs on here, and you put your attack cast speed on here. Some people choose to put other stuff on here, but basically putting these two things on here means you always have your AP to mobs up, and you always have your attack cast speed plus 7% up. It's a slam dunk. You can't go wrong with this, okay? Thunderstorm, you can go a bit of a different way with this. I like back attack damage because, again, you have the red orb. Okay, so back attack damage does a lot for you on Witch because you're always going to be back attacking because they're always hitting the red orb. Can Witch go DR? I'll cover that in a moment. Critical hit damage plus 3%. I usually max out my critical hit damage in PvE for Witch. And so critical hit damage and back attack damage are the two best to go to. The air attack damage isn't really going to help you all that much, but these are the two big ones, so I put them on Thunderstorm. On Voltaic Pulse is already your evasion debuff, as we talked about before, so I put all DP minus 15. You just double down. Whenever you have a skill, whenever you're making like skill add-ons, you just want to double down on stuff. So you want to find the skill with evasion debuff on it, and then you want to put more DP debuff, more evasion debuff on it. So essentially now it's like a 20% or more evasion debuff whenever I hit things with it. Okay, and that's really, really good. Yoke of Ordeal, this is Gore Roll. Okay, and this is like your tier 3 add-on, so you always want to have stuff on here. I put my AP to mobs plus 30, and then all attack cast speed plus 10%. Gore Roll is really good in PvE, so you're basically using it when it's off cooldown, but it's got a longer cooldown than something like Fisher Wave, so it can't be up all the time. Lightning Blast, I put DP plus 15 and all evasion rate plus 4%. This is the one that you could technically make this a different skill. I use Lightning Blast in PvE because I also use Barrage of Lightning as well. And so like, but I always use Lightning Blast before Barrage of Lightning because it's a frontal guard, and frontal guards are really good in PvE. So like, I put the skill add-on on Lightning Blast because that's the skill that I typically use before I use Barrage of Lightning. Okay, so those are my PvE add-ons. Do I have... All right, so I have capped PvP add-ons as well. Okay, here are my capped PvP Awakening add-ons. Okay. Why don't you use the other tier 3 add-on? Again, because like I chose Lightning Blast instead of Barrage of Lightning. Because like I can use Lightning Blast more frequently because it's got a lower cooldown. And Barrage of Lightning's on like a 20-second cooldown, so it doesn't really matter all that much. So you can put it on Barrage of Lightning. It's just like whatever. I prefer the DP that I get from the other skill there. So in this case, again, this is capped PvP, not uncapped PvP. Okay. So I use attack cast speed plus 7% and bleed damage. So in capped PvP, you really want to focus on attack cast speed. So slows are really important and bleeds are really important. So equilibrium damage break has 100% or 100 damage bleed on it. Fisher Wave has back attack and down attack damage. Again, you can see this shifts away from PvE a little bit here. Thunderstorm has the attack cast speed and move speed. Slows on it because Thunderstorm, when you have your pet out, already slows your opponent. So we double down on that slow. So when they get hit with Thunderstorm, they're getting hit with the slow that's on the skill normally and the extra slow from the skill add-on. It's really crippling for people. Really crippling for people. Voltaic Pulse is another big one. Okay, so again, critical hit rate. You'll notice that I took the evasion and the DP debuff off this. That's because most of the time people have so much evasion and so much DP that in capped PvP, trying to debuff that is basically irrelevant. It just doesn't work very well. So I put critical hit rate and attack cast speed on Voltaic Pulse. Yoke of Ordeal has another bleed on it with down attack damage. You're not using Gore Roll very often unless you can get your back to a wall, but it's a tier 3 add-on, so it's really good. And then again, Lightning Blast has extra human damage and bleed on it. The reason that I give Lightning Blast extra human damage is because you're immediately going to use Barrage of Lightning after you use Lightning Blast in large-scale PvP as a general rule. Okay, so like you're gonna get it's just gonna make Barrage of Lightning do more damage. Okay, and it's got another bleed on it. Okay, so this is the capped add-ons that I use for my Awakening Witch. There is uncapped DP. I can't change for another 7 minutes though, so like we'll talk about something else in the meantime. Okay, we talked about pre-awakening and awakening swaps. Let's talk about combos a little bit here. Again, everything in the Awakening Witches kit has a sweet spot. Okay, if you hit them like Fisher Wave, for example, if you hit them at the very end of Fisher Wave, it's just not going to do as much damage as if you hit them right in the middle of the skill. Okay, right dead in front of you. So for Fisher Wave, I would say that the sweet spot's like right here. Thunderstorm is also right there. Anywhere like basically every single skill, now that I'm thinking about it, the sweet spot is basically going to be right here. Okay. It'll do less damage. You have big AoEs all around that, but like if you hit them with that, it's going to do the most possible damage. So you really want to make sure that when people are on the ground and you're doing damage to them, that you're hitting them with the sweet spot of your skills. Okay. Generally speaking, when you go in, you're always leading with Voltaic and then Thunderstorm. Okay. You're going to re-CC with Fisher Wave, and then you can go into any sort of other. Honestly, you're just using what's off cooldown, guys. If I'm being honest, you're just using what's off cooldown. But you'll notice you can basically stay protected all the time. Okay, there's really no such thing as a combo for Witch, but like the follow-up, I can go over follow-up, which again, detonative flow. Okay, see, fuck me, dude. She doesn't actually turn her body, so if you try to turn after teleport, she will not turn her body. Just like this. The skill is going to go that way. Okay, so you have to make sure that you meaningfully turn and then actually cast the spell. Like that. Okay, you have to actually physically turn your character towards the direction that you want to actually cast it. But like if you hit someone with a float, you can re-CC them with Fisher Wave. Fisher Wave is generally speaking your go-to re-CC for everything. Mouse move not work. Oh yeah, we can cover that a little bit. So you can mouse move some of the witch's skills. Okay. You can mouse move equilibrium break like this. Okay, you notice how I turned the witch around in the middle of the skill. Okay, so she's facing that way. And it goes off over here. Understand that that does not turn the frontal guard of the skill. If somebody comes up behind you and you use equilibrium break this way, the frontal guard is going to go that way no matter what. Even if you turn your character around. The damage can be turned. The frontal guard cannot. Okay? Which is why usually when people are coming near you, you just want to use the super armor. Just use the super armor. You can use elementalization to kind of back up a little bit and make sure that you're not going to take any extra damage. Okay? So against a witch, against another witch, it's a trade situation. Okay, you know you do not, neither of you has a grab. Okay, if you're playing against another Awakening Witch, neither of you has a grab. Okay, so it's basically who can trade better with what skill. Okay, when they TP near you, okay, they're probably going to use Voltaic and Thunderstorm. This is how you out trade them. Okay, if they TP near you, they throw a super armor you throw a frontal guard. Okay, you turn toward them, you Fisher Wave, you equilibrium break, and then you go, or you can just go roll and you can just eat them. Okay, because see, the frontal guard means you're not going to take any damage. Okay, because they're in super armor, they can take damage. You ain't going to CC them, but they can still take damage. Okay, so when they TP on you, just make sure you're throwing frontal guards at them and you're trading your frontal guards with their super armors and vice versa. Okay, then it's a game of, okay, since both of you are basically frontal guarded low mobility classes, essentially what you want to do is something like this. Okay, so if that's the enemy witch over there, you TP in and then you can elementalization here. Okay, and you can do this with a lot of enemies. What this will do is they TP and you're like, oh shit, they're behind me, so they're gonna throw the frontal guard, but you elementalization to the other side of them and then immediately CC them with like detonative flow or something. Okay, you TP in, you fool them, you elementalization back, you hit them with the Fisher Wave, and then you start pounding S. Okay, and then you start pounding S. My gore went away. Okay, keep in mind that when you take your pet out, you can only have them out for an hour at a time. You have to take them out every hour. It's this buff down here. It's only 59 minutes. That is in the game because people will exploit grinding if it's not like that. Okay, so that's Witch. If you're fighting a Succession Witch is a much better duelist than you. However, Succession Witch is a primarily ranged class with a split teleport. So really, again, you're a bottom. You're a bottom. You basically have to sit here, and you're trying to catch the Succession Witch when she exhausts both of her teleports. Okay, as we will cover on the Succession Witch guide, again, their teleport is split so that they can TP, plant their feet, TP again, plant their feet, TP again, plant their feet, and you want to try to catch them between there. If they get close to you and they try to trade, it's like that Spider-Man meme. I've got you for 3 minutes. Okay, like you can out-trade the shit out of a Succession Witch at close range. You are way, way better at killing people at close range than Suck Witch is. She's basically a glass ranged cannon. That's all she can do. Okay, and she's really unprotected when standing from range. So if she's throwing fireball explosion, things like this, lightning, that's all unprotected range damage. Okay, you have to be careful not to get CC'd yourself, but it's very easy to land a detonative flow on a Succession Witch. Okay, detonative flow is your ranged float, right? You're chilling because you have a block. She does not have a block. Is Awakening Witch better than Suck for PvP? No, not really, no. Again, I'm going over 1v1s right now. Suck Witch is much better for 1v1s, so that is true. So you can stand and block like this. Suck Witch does not have a block. Okay, not a block, no block. It's one of the only classes in the game that doesn't have anything like that. Okay, so you can just stand like this and just absorb incoming range damage. If your frontal guard dies, you can just elementalization backwards and then magical evasion away from her until your frontal guard comes back. No big deal, right? So you really don't have to worry about the range pressure she's necessarily going to put on you. What she's going to try to do is she's going to try to TP in right behind you, just like this. Okay, and the second that she does that, you just throw Voltaic, you throw Thunderstorm, and you just start pounding her ass. Okay, like she has to get near you, and so you have to just destroy her. Okay, if she's throwing range damage at you, she's going to try to slow you, she's going to try to hit you with range pressure. Just make sure that you're constantly throwing out your frontal guards or putting your block up so that she can't get any of that range DPS through. Alternatively, you can stand behind Gore. You can just stand behind Gore. Okay, Awakening Witch versus Succession Witch. Awakening Witch, like I said, much more of a battle mage, likes to go in with the front line a lot. Definitely a more up close and personal style of Witch. It's way easier to play, much lower APM, much better in PvE, but doesn't have the skill ceiling that Succession Witch actually allots for. Succession Witch has a much higher skill ceiling, is a much better duelist, and is played primarily from range, as we will cover, and is generally speaking considered better in large scale PvP because she still has a lot of the... Succession Witch doesn't quite have as much support capabilities as Awakening does. Almost everything, but not quite. And so Awakening is considered just a better support overall support class if you like support classes that can also deal damage. So not shy, right? Awakening Witch is a good option for you. Succession Witch is definitely a much more Giga Gamer duelist that you're looking for. Does Witch have high accuracy rate? Yes. Witch's accuracy is actually very, very good. Okay, so most of her skills have pretty solid accuracy rates on them. You'll notice that Thunderstorm, like the first one I mouse those, has 25% Voltaic Pulse is an evasion percentage debuff. So like, again, that's going to help you tremendously with hitting targets with really high evasion. Is having a skill like Voltaic Pulse that can debuff them for essentially 20% because you put your skill add-on on there too, right? Most of your stuff has really good, see, this is a 30% accuracy rate, right? And then your class buff also has 15% accuracy on it, so it gives you 15% more accuracy on top of everything else. It's got a lot of accuracy. It's not the most in the game, but definitely in the higher end of classes for sure. Really, really good. Really, really good. Again, this is a 20% accuracy rate. This is a 20% accuracy rate. 25%. So like most of her skills have a lot of accuracy on them. Do you grind, Blue? Yeah, I grind all the time. Okay. All right. So yeah, very good accuracy class. Succession Witch, not as great. Succession Witch's accuracy is not as good. Awakening's accuracy is quite good. On top of the fact that you have Toxic Flood, you have Red Orb, and you have Voltaic, yeah, you can basically just destroy evasion opponents pretty efficiently. I will say that when you're fighting against people, you are going to lack damage. Overall, you're going to lack damage. At least that's what it's going to feel like if your opponent has a lot of DP on. Okay, so in that case, when you CC someone, you need to make sure that you're putting paralysis on them. Okay, because you're not going to be able to kill them in one combo. If you know that you're not going to be able to kill your opponent in one combo, then is she good at crypt? She's probably the best class in the game at crypt, if not one of the best classes in the game. Because most of her skills are frontal guarded, so you can be permanently frontal guarded. You have red orb, so the mobs all hit red orb, and magical evasion is a get out of jail free card. She also has a bunch of heals in her kit, and she also has, you know, PA and all that other stuff. So like, she's just the safest class in the game if you're going to do something like that. What artifact set are you using? I'll get into that in a second. God dang it, what was I just talking about? Okay, we'll just do artifact. I forgot what I was saying. How does it compare to Wusa and PvE? It's way safer than Wusa. It's way safer than Wusa. It's also much lower APM. Wusa probably grinds a little bit faster at most places, but it's safer, lower APM, which in my opinion makes it better, but like, it is going to pull lower trash, but... Okay, let's do artifacts real quick. Alright, so in capped PvP, I use my HP artifacts. HP with HP with HP. Okay. Alright. In PvE, you're using Death Blow every time. Like I said before, the class does not have a lot of inherent crit. You need to make sure you're getting as much critical strike chance as possible. Death Blow is best in slot. For Awakening Witch in PvE, you need Death Blow. It is so, so good because it essentially makes everything 100% crit or very close to 100% crit as long as you have 5 crit on, and then you're running Death Blow. You're kind of killing it in PvE. So I run 2 AP to monsters and Death Blow in PvE. In large scale uncapped PvP, I run this. This is called Blur. Blur is extremely good on Awakening Witch because you have to trade with people. Okay, you have to get in close to do your damage, but you're very, very rarely unprotected. Blur takes 80% of your resistances away, so you essentially have no resistances. Okay, but you get 20 DR and 40 evasion on top of 2 evasion artifacts, which give you even more evasion on top of it, which mean that you're really tanky. So you can go in with Voltaic and Thunderstorm and really, really get a lot of work done because people just can't trade as efficiently into you. I also run... I'll go over the build path right now too. In large scale PvP and uncapped PvP, I like to run a full DP set, which I will go over in just a moment. Awakening Witch can be built with evasion or DR. You can do both. Okay, you can do either. Most people say that DR does more damage. I have run her with both. Okay, so I know probably more than anyone that she can be played with both. I played with her for a year and a half or so with DR, and I've been about a year and a half on her with the evasion build now. I will say she does definitely feel a little bit better with evasion, for Awakening specifically. For Succession, you're going to want to go DR. Succession Witch or Succession Wizard, you're probably going to want to go DR because you're probably not going to want to tank a lot of damage. But in Awakening, I do like the evasion because the class buff is a 12% evasion buff. She has good evasion on her kit. She's got good DR. It helps your survivability a lot more. And plus, you've already got good accuracy modifiers. You're not as worried about losing stuff like that in the Awakening aspect. So like I go evasion, I've done both. I think both are definitely super viable. You'll do a little bit more damage with DR builds. Both of them are totally fine. You don't have to change your build up. She's one of the classes that you can tag in the game and you don't have to change your build just to play her. Okay, because she could be played with both. All right, but I go evasion because I consider it better in large scale PvP, but just in general. Okay, now I am probably gonna get a lunar necklace. As far as late game build go for Witch, you basically just want to follow the same build path that I did in my gearing guide. If you guys go check that out, I just shamelessly plug that too. It's a really good gear and progression guide. You're basically going to do the same thing. You can go debos and stuff. I'm probably going to get a lunar necklace because I'm at the stage of the game where like I do need more accuracy, so I'm probably going to go ahead and grab a lunar neck, and I blew up my debo, and that's why I'm wearing a Kaposha at this very moment. But like that's because again my debo is a duo. It might be in my inventory. I don't even know where it is. There it is. Okay. Okay, so I do run a DP build for Witch. Okay. You can see all the gear in my inventory here. She is one of the few classes in the game that can actually be played with a DP build and be extremely effective. Okay, like really effective. So if you're running a full evasion build like this with blur, by the way, this is another reason that I run evasion on Witch, is because a full DP set is really basically an evasion build. And so like having more evasion is going to make a full DP set even better. If you're running DR and you run a full DP set, you're going to be a lot less tanky. But I'm evasion. I have a full DP set so that I can be tankier. Okay. Oh yeah, I have the offhand. Oh, it's right here. There it is. So this is a penultimate parrying dagger. It's only coffer C6 right now. And then I have, so this is a river neck. This is a centaur belt. These are both ethereal earrings. These are both Pen Jesus rings. I used to have Kadri rings. I think that I'm going to transition these to Pen Kadri rings with HP add-ons. Those are just definitely a lot better than Pen Jesus rings are. But for now, I have the Jesus on. Mid-game, the Pen Jesus are probably the way to go for sure. And then I have a Resplendent Alchemy Stone of Protection, which is not upgraded yet because I'm a loser. But like technically you should update this. Now, with all of this said and done, if I flip my Alchemy Stone on, I do not have a house buff on right now, and so like, and I'm not totally buffed up right now. But if I look at my stats, you know, I'm sitting at like 1327 evasion, which is not, you know, super crazy great. If I class buff, I'm getting 17% more evasion on top of it. So like, yeah, it's a lot. You feel really tanky for sure. You're really, really tanky. This build will definitely keep you alive against 99% of the players in Black Desert Online, especially in large scale PvP. I use this when I'm shot calling because people like to focus me and I can go in with the boys. Okay, you can play Witch how she's meant to be played, which is I'm gonna bomb in and I'm just gonna blast people. I'm gonna blow them away, right? It looks like a shy build. It essentially is, because the DP build in BDO is the same regardless of what you're doing. Okay, shy Witch. Yeah, you can do, like, if you have a shy, you could tag a Witch and use this very effectively. Again, this is a ultimate parrying dagger. So it's just a parrying dagger that I just put the ultimate reform stone into, and then I coffered up a little bit. And again, this Resplendent Alchemy Stone of Protection is really, really good as well. Okay. This build, like I said, basically keeps you alive in large scale PvP. You don't have to worry about anything. When you're playing DP on Witch, it's one of the most effective classes in the game at doing this, okay? At using a build like this. Yes, Shy is really good too. Shy is another one of the good classes, but if you don't want to play Shy, Witch is arguably the best class in the game to play with a DP set on. It's much better than Mystic. It's much better than a Valkyrie or anything, any sort of Striker or anything like that, because of the utility that you bring to the table, okay? All of the utility that you bring to the table. So I can TP it, I can throw down Toxic Flood, I can throw down Red Orb, I can pound. Everything has a slow on it, right? So like, I'll show you guys. I'm actually gonna wait and I'm going to show you my uncapped DP set. You can also use your heals all the time, speed spells, PAs, like literally everything. You've got evasion debuffs in your kit. Like you have so many tools to help your allies, and it basically helps you use all those tools to the maximum potential. So I'm going to switch over to my uncapped skill add-on. I got to wait 48 seconds for my thing to come off cooldown here. That TP though, holy shit. Yeah, no, I'm not dying. I'm not dying. I ride around with this. When you see me in the open world, typically I have this DP set on because people like to knock me off my horse and say LOL blue. But then I like to laugh back at them because I have too much DP and you can't kill me, so eat my ass. Why no narcs? Because the ethereal earrings are way better than narcs. Way better. Because this is a full DP build. This is not any offensive. You notice my AP is 161. I'm not trying to get AP. This is full DP, full defensive, full support capability witch. Okay? So, like, I have this option. 66696. Thanks for that prime sub, buddy. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the squadron. Thank you. Just tag my Lon and started on her today. She's so much fun. Yeah, Lon's a lot of fun. I might tag her soon. Okay, so now I can show you my uncapped skill add-ons. Remember, this is uncapped and this is for DP set only. Okay, this is DP set. Okay, so again, I'm focused on slows across the board. Okay, super slows, bleeds, debuffs, stuff like this. I am not at all worried about offensive stats in any way. So you see I got bleed damage, DP debuff, attack cast speed, or attack cast speed and move speed slow, attack cast speed, move speed slow, bleed, I'm debuffing their human damage, I'm debuffing their accuracy, I'm debuffing their attack cast speed, I'm getting more DP and all evasion rate for Frigid Fog. The reason that I have that on Frigid Fog, they say, oh, that's kind of weird, right? Okay, well, let me show you the full super armor rotation. When you're in a DP build like this, you can do a full super armor rotation and not have to worry about it. So I can TP in Voltaic, Thunderstorm, Frigid Fog, Earthquake. Okay, quick Earthquake, Earth and Eruption. Okay, and then you can technically TP back out again because everything's off cooldown again. You can technically TP back out again after you're done with that. Okay, so like you can basically just stand in full super armor, and because Frigid Fog is an excellent catch and it's part of that rotation, okay, I put all DP plus 15 and all evasion rate plus 4% on there. Okay, that way when I'm done with Voltaic and Thunderstorm, as we discussed before, your pre-awakening kit, when you use super armors in your pre-awakening kit like Earthquake, you don't have very much DR on there. So I like to put the skill add on Frigid Fog so that you have more defensive stats as you go into that rotation. All right, so basically you're just trying to slow CC and then otherwise support your allies all the time. You got any clips with that DP build? Yeah. Oh, you can see it right at the start of the clip. Right there. You see? This is the same set. Watch what this guy does. Okay. This Musa, this is close to a hard capped Musa. I get CC'd. He knocks me over. Yeah. You're trash. Okay. So again, this guy is 700 plus gear score. Shitload of gear on one of the highest DPS classes in the game. My HP bar didn't even move. 479 DP. I'm missing my offhand in this clip. Notice my offhand is not even equipped. Okay, because I just used my axe. Okay, so I'm actually even less tanky than I should be. Okay, he still didn't even touch my HP bar. Not even a little bit. Okay, there are people that will be able to kill you because they're full accuracy, but like, or main hand, the main hand doesn't give you defensive stats though. Okay, okay, so like this is the skill add-ons for DP. All right, we just went over them. We didn't go over the Rabam skills. I'm going to cover those really quickly. There's only one of these that really matters. The rest of these are like whatever. But Sage's Light, this is your Rabam heal. The important thing about Sage's Light is that it's an instant cast heal that is essentially the same thing as Sage's Memory. I mean, it's essentially the same thing as Healing Lighthouse, okay? But watch Healing Lighthouse. Watch how slow this heal takes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you're unprotected the whole time. It takes forever. It's difficult. Now watch Rabam heal. Done. Done. It's just like that. It's probably 60% faster. Okay. It's got a much longer cooldown on it, but it's basically an instant heal back to full health for yourself and all your allies around you, and you're much less unprotected. I mean, it is still unprotected, but like it's much shorter, so you have less chance of getting CC. Okay. So like that skill is super important. That skill is super good. That's the skill you need to be taking in large scale PvP. Some people use the Sage's Thunder. This is garbage. This is garbage. Unless you're in 1v1s. In 1v1s, oh, I can't reset it right now. I'll show you guys what it looks like. There it is. It's an instant cast stun from range. So it's really good. It's just, this is way better. So like Awakening Witch is a support style class. You need to have Sage's Light. It's just another heal. On top of all of the heals in your kit, you want more healing. It's way better. It's the best heal in your kit. You can't afford not to take that. But if you're in a 1v1 situation, Sage's Thunder is not a bad option. It's an instant cast stun from range. It's really good, but like, it's just not as good as Sage's Light. Okay, so you see how quick, bam. See how quick that goes off? It's really fast. It's really fast. This one down here, I take lightning arrows. Nobody cares. No one ever uses this skill. You can take mana arrows. It is technically a frontal guard. Okay. The problem with this is that I think it's Shift Z. Or no, you have to add this to a quick slot, and like your quick slot's already full, so you don't care. No one ever uses this stuff. Okay. It does decent-ish damage. Decent-ish damage. This is Swift Earthquake, guys. I talked about this a few, I call it Rabam Earthquake. But like, this is a really good skill just because it's just a super armor. It's not a CC. Okay, it's only abound in PvE. You're never using it in PvE. It's just a quick super armor. It's just to have an extra super armor. It's basically Earthquake without the stiffen. Doesn't do any damage. It's just a quick super armor if you need it. Not very good though. If you want to do uncapped PvP that is not DP oriented, you can basically use the PvP capped PvP add-ons I had, but just put the evasion debuffs and stuff and your accuracy buffs on there as well. Blue, why do you play Awakening Witch? Why do you play? Well, there's two reasons I play Awakening Witch. The first is she's the best shot calling class in the entire game. Hands down. This is the best class in terms of like overall utility, easiness to play. The most important thing about your shot calling class is that it is very comfortable to play with. Okay, you need to be very comfortable in the class. Awakening Witch requires low APM and very low brain power to execute properly. What about Shy as a shot calling class? I tried Shy for about 3 months. You don't have the mobility to keep up with the offense ball. So, Witch is the best shot calling class for a number of reasons. One, like I said, she's really low APM. Two, all of the most important skills that you're going to use for large scale PvP are all on your hotbar. You can see PA cooldown. You can see speed spell cooldown. You have heal cooldowns on your hotbar as well. You also know what TP cooldowns are, when your class buffs are going to be up. All of this stuff is critically important to a shot caller. So instead of having to just remember it and like feel it out, be like, hey guys, is PA up? You don't need to do that. You can just look at your PA. It's right there. You know what I mean? It's very important that you're able to do that. So like all of your cooldowns are right there. You're also in with the front line, so you're diving a lot. As a shot caller, nobody wants a commander who's a pussy. Nobody would have wrote it if this was Rohan, okay? If the riders of Rohan up on that hill, none of those fuckers would have charged into those orcs if the king had not been leading the fucking way. Okay? None of them would have gone. Okay? You have to lead. You have to go in first. Okay? So, like, you're saying, all right, boys, let's get in there. And then they see the boy that they see him TP in. They're like, oh, shit, here we go again. And then everybody comes with you. Awakening Witch has the durability to stay alive at close range like that when played really well. And again, she can be played with a DP set. She's got all of the support capabilities. She's just very easily the best shot calling class in the game. You could argue that Awakening Wizard is also an amazing shot calling class. I would say Witch is definitely a little bit better because you have ranged capabilities on the Witch. And she's frontal guard protected, in my opinion, is stronger. Like Awakening Wizard dies way faster. I find myself better on like surviving more on Awakening Witch just because I can throw frontal guards. Like I basically, here's what I do. And all right, so if I'm TPing in for a big engage, guys, I TP here, I throw down my Voltaic, my Thunderstorm, and I'm immediately looking around to try and find a wall that I can put my back to. So over there, I'd be like, all right, elementalization back, and then I can start throwing frontal guards. Okay, that was an ultimate, but like, then you can start throwing frontal guards. Okay, This is pro strats. Pro strats. Okay? But you put your back to the wall, the frontal guard is objectively better. So, like, as long as you're TPing to a correct position, and also, Witch's skills are way easier to see through. Wizard, Cataclysm, and Bolide are so obnoxiously intrusive on your screen. There's so much shit going on that you actually can't look around you and see what's going on. Right? But Witch gives me a very good survey of the battlefield, because Voltaic doesn't actually just block my entire screen like Bolide. Right? I find that Witch is easy to grab versus Wizard. In large-scale PvP, you're not worried about grabs. You're not worried about grabs. So, I find she's the best shotcalling class in the game. The other reason that I play Witch... Okay? The other reason that I play Witch... I'm just gonna be honest. So, when you're a young gamer, it's very much like cars. And women. But when you're young, you want a car or a girlfriend that is super attractive, as far as car goes, high performance, right, respectfully, maybe is a lot of work, you don't care, flashy boom boom effects, looks really good, right, amazing. But as you get older, okay, you just want one that's not going to give you a lot of trouble. Which is the Prius of classes, okay? Which is not going to give you a lot of trouble. I used to play Dark Knight. Okay? I used to play Dark Knight. Super high maintenance, super high performance. Fuck that shit. You transition to Witch, it's like a third the APM. Way less work. Gets the job done. Okay? It's just, look, I'm just telling you how it is. Alright? And so, like, if you want a class that's really low APM like this, it works. Is he still talking about witches here? I'm talking about cars. Yeah. If I'm going to spend hours playing a game, I want something that looks pretty. I'm sorry. Does this not look pretty to you? Does this not look pretty to you? Look how fucking gorgeous that woman looks. Is this a joke? Okay. But that's why I play Witch. Okay. Every once in a while I tag her. Okay. But, like, I've basically been faithful to the Witch for quite some time now. Okay, let's go over matchups. All right, when you're playing against a Wizard, if you're playing against an Awakening, okay, so if you're playing against Suck Wizard, we already went over Suck Witch and Awakening Witch. Okay, if you're playing against the Wizard, it's kind of the opposite. So Awakening Wizard likes to trade with super armors. You have frontal guards. Okay, you need to also understand that Awakening Wizard has a grab and will grab you. Anything that has a grab, you're basically trying to play around the grab all the time. Okay, he's going to try to super armor trade with you, and he's going to be extremely aggressive. Okay, and you're basically backing up, you're backing up, you're backing up, you're kiting back. You have way better range than he does. Way better range. So if he stands at range, you just pelt him. Lightning blast, barrage of lightning, like a detonative flow, everything. You just hurling shit at him. He doesn't have a block. He only has 2 frontal guards basically in the whole kit. You just turbo him from range. So you're basically trying to keep your distance from him. Okay, if he gets near you, you're probably going to get out traded. Okay, Suck Wizard is very similar to Suck Witch. It's basically a ranged glass cannon, and again, you're just trying to get them, like, they have to throw range at you, so you just throw your frontal guards. You can return fire with your own range, and then when they try to come in on you, you have Toxic Flood ready, and you just roll them. Absolutely roll them. It's Voltaic Thunderstorm will outtrade both Succession versions of the class and just about everything that they do. It basically turbos them. You also have frontal guards. They don't have a grab, which means that you can just trade frontals into them without worrying about it. So, it's very good. What do I run if I'm gaming Richard? Just start hitting the keys on your keyboard and you should win. All right, Shy. I find swapping servers to be extremely effective. Dark Knight, like all flankers in the game, Awakening DK is going to give you a lot of trouble. It's going to be very difficult because she's pelting you with range. She has a lot of iframes. She's very good at getting behind you. Nocturne is the skill that you're most afraid of on Witch. Okay. Awakening DK is like a mid-range class, okay? You can catch her a lot with Detonative Flow, all right? That forward F skill in Awakening, that float, right? But it's going to be really tough because you got to be really careful about throwing frontal guards at a Dark Knight, Okay, she can jump behind you very easily all the time, and that is why she is primarily really bad in 1v1s. She has very low mobility and she's frontal guard protected, which means any assassin worth their salt is just going to jump behind you, knock you out of your frontal guard, and kill you. Okay, so like most of these matchups revolve around trying to keep your opponent out in front of you and trying to abuse your range pressure to the best of your ability. Okay, also paralysis. It's very difficult to get paralysis down on a DK because if you try to use it, it's unprotected, and if she's close enough to use it, you're probably gonna die. However, I will say DK is really squishy, so the solution against Dark Knight is to just hit them with Barrage of Lightning twice. They are dead, like a fart in the wind. That bitch just falls over. Okay, so if you hit her with Voltaic Thunderstorm, she'll lose 2/3 of her health, and then you just Lightning Blast and Barrage of Lightning, and she just vaporizes. She just dies. So like, death is the best CC. You're not really trying to play to CC the Dark Knight. You're basically just trying to trade damage into her as hard as you can, because you will out trade her at close range on most skill trades. Okay. How do you play against Hash? I'll go over that in a second. This is Corsair. Corsair is a difficult class if it's Succession because she can break your frontal guards and keep it broken. However, she's not particularly mobile, and it's difficult to stay on top of the witch for her. She doesn't have a crazy amount of range, so you basically just want to pelt her with range. Just understand that most Succession Corsairs are stacking evasion like super hard. Okay, so like if you need to put out Red Orb, you need to put out Toxic Flood, and then you need to come and get it, bitch. Okay. And then you say, come and get it, bitch. And then she comes near you, you immediately throw down Voltaic Pulse, because Corsairs are primarily, Succession Corsair is primarily protected through super armors. You can trade Voltaic into her and get that evasion debuff off really quickly. Red Orb will hit them, and so will Toxic Flood. So they come in on you, they get debuffed across the board, and then you just start pounding them with damage. Okay, you can also just TP away at that point once the debuffs are on them, and then start throwing range. Right, and then start throwing range. Okay. How do you play against the Shy 1v1? You leave it alone. That's exactly right. Okay, it's very important to me that you understand that when a Shy wants to DFS you, it's a trap. Okay, they're gonna put on all of their DP and they're gonna ask you one very simple question: is your gear branded? Okay, because if your gear isn't branded, they're gonna kill you. All right. Every single one of the Shy's ability has like 50 to 60 hits on it. Your gear loses durability when hits, like according to the number of hits on each skill. So if they hit you with their boomerang, that's 50 hits. You'll lose 20 durability on one Shy skill on all of your shit. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put on all their DP, and then they're gonna break your gear. And then it's a situation where you're not trapped in here with me, Buttercup. You're trapped in there with them. And then you look behind the couch and you see all those big orc strong men standing behind you. And you die. Okay? You don't fight Shy in PvE. Okay? They kill you. It is not a free win. They will kill you. All right. Pull out your tent and fix. No, they'll just CC you. They got bongos. Yeah, you always stay away from the little girls. That's actually a good rule of thumb for everything in life, yeah. So if you're fighting an Awakening Corsair, it's actually super doable. Awakening Corsair can't break your frontal guard, and she can't get in behind you as effectively as Succession can. Okay, so you can trade with her pretty well. And she likes to stand at range and throw anchors and shit at you, and you can dodge the anchors with magical evasion. All of her skills are pretty telegraphed. If she tries to go near you, again, you just hit her with Voltaic Thunderstorm, you TP away, and you start pounding ass again. Okay, it's relatively straightforward. You're still probably going to lose, though, for one very simple reason. Awakening Corsair has a grab, and you're probably dead to the grab. When she gets close to you, she's going to try to grab you. It's not a very reliable grab, but it was made more effective in a very recent patch. Well, I say very recent, like 3 months ago. They updated Awakening Corsair's grab. It's actually much better now. It's a ranged grab. It's one of the few ranged grabs in the game, and so like you're probably going to die. All right, the best way to avoid grabs on Awakening Witch, and this is an important part of the guide. So you hit escape, you disconnect, and then when you hit the change server button, you can basically switch to any other server that is available to you. But you want to do so really quickly, because if that grab hits you, you're probably going to die. Okay. There's really no other way to avoid it. If you leave your server if you leave your server up here and you don't hide it, what you can do is you can actually V. Okay, I can't use it in the battle arena, but you can V, and then you can swap servers before the V even finishes, and I find that that is an extremely effective strategy at avoiding grabs in basically all matchups. So just bear that in mind. But realistically speaking, the only way to avoid grabs on Awakening Witch is to use Magic Shield. Okay. Also, most grab classes are morons. They're total idiots, guys. Like, actual idiots. That's why I grabbed them. Like, if you ask a striker, hey man, what's your strategy against Witch? I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna drop my leg on them. And then you say, hey man, well, what's your strategy against Dark Knight? I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna drop my leg on them. Okay, well, what's your strategy against Nova? I'm gonna grab that. You get the idea. Okay? They're just gonna try to run belligerently at you until they get this grab. You can use this to your advantage because you're more intelligent. Evolutionarily speaking, your thumbs make a full L, where they only have a V situation going on. So although it's very easy for them to hit their spacebar, it might be more difficult for them to actually use their thumbs to try and kill you. Okay? When they're running straight at you, you have two lines of defense. Number one, Magic Shield. Remember all those resistances we talked about before? Okay? Magic Shield is extremely important. I don't know why my orb is on here. So you use Magic Shield, boom. And you get you get grapple resist. Most important, you get grapple resist plus 30%. Okay? AKA, please don't grab me. Please don't grab me. Please don't grab me. Okay? Like, that's your strategy. Okay? Resistances typically don't work, though, against grab classes, so it's ineffective. Okay? Because the developers have decided to give grapple resist penetration to every single class in the game. Well, every single relevant grab class has grapple resist penetration. And so your resistances probably don't matter at all. Things like Warrior, Striker, Mystic, Berserker, those classes, like all of those classes have grapple resist pen on them. Hi, Blue. Please do a Dr. Eggman cosplay. I already have. Go to my Instagram. So again, Magic Shield is a good one. Another really good skill that you need to understand is Gore Roll. Gore Roll is the best line of defense against grab classes once you've run out of movement skills. So like, they're gonna run at you, you magical evasion back, you elementalization over here, then you're gonna blow your teleport. You're eventually, though, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you don't have a movement skill and they're approaching you. Okay, usually if it's a warrior, I'm gonna walk at her with my block up and now I'm gonna kill her. Okay, actual fucking morons. All right, but the best thing to do against these people, because grabs are unprotected until they land. Okay, so what you can do is you can just throw out Gore Roll. When they come up to you, you Gore Roll. Every single hit of Gore Roll knocks back and staggers the opponent. Okay, every single hit of Gore Roll knocks them back. This is super effective against Guardians, Strikers, Mystics, Warriors, basically every fucking grab class in the game. Okay, every grab class in the game. Gore Roll literally pushes them backward on every hit. Look, see, do you see how you got knocked back twice there? That will create distance for you. You can also, once the Gore Roll is finished, quickly throw out Paralysis. Okay? Quickly throw out Paralysis. And again, remember, that's that slow ability, Shift Q. Okay? So you want to hit him with Gore Roll. It's going to stagger him backwards. You're not going to be able to follow that up. I've tried a million times. It's very difficult to follow that up if their hands are on their keyboard. Okay, so really what you're going to do is they're going to get staggered back and you just toss Paralysis on them. Then they're going to be really slow and you can TP away and just pelt them with range damage. Okay, that's essentially all you've got. All right, that's your primary defense against grabs. And Awakening Corsair is no different. You can definitely do that. Mystic is a melee class, does not have any range pressure with the exception of maybe one skill. But like, you really don't have to worry about getting CC'd from range. So like, you really just want to stand at range and try to pelt them. However, they have a lot of evasion, and I mean a lot of evasion. So you're probably not going to be able to do a lot of damage if they have a decent amount of gear. So what needs to happen is, again, you set up shop. We talked about setting up shop before. You throw it on your red orb, you throw it on your toxic flood, you speed spell, magic shield yourself, and you say, come fucking get it, you stupid primate. Okay, then they come into the middle of the, hit them with voltaic, make sure you elementalization away from the grab, and then you're throwing skills at them. Okay, they come at you again with the grab, and then they're all debuffed now, so you can TP away and actually get damage done. Okay, so like, it's definitely possible, but it's really hard because all the Mystic is gonna do, you guessed it, I'm gonna wire her and I'm gonna grab her. Okay, that's all they're gonna do. Every class in the game, if they have a grab, that's their strategy. They're terrible players, horrible fucking players. They're just gonna run at you and they're just gonna grab you. Okay, because that's the only thing that they know how to do. That is 99% of players in BDO. Okay, just came from Aspen's video, needed the support. Thanks, Pineapple Plus, I appreciate it. There's absolutely no ill will or years of built up sentiment against grab classes at all here. They're just horrible players, and I hate them. That is my unbiased take. Mewa, is Dracona actually here? No, he's not. We're good. I get it. Everyone hates Corsair. Yeah. All right. So Mewa, there is Succession Mewa and there is Awakening Mewa. Okay. Against Succession Mewa, you have to, so Succession Mewa trades with super armors, and you're like, bet, we know how to do this. It's a non-grab class with super armor trades, and then you die. Okay, she hits you with 2 skills and you're dead. Mewa in general is going to do the same shit no matter if she is Succession or Awakening. In Awakening, Mewa primarily trades with frontal guards. So Mewa, like I said, it's the same stupid shit regardless. It's just that Awakening Mewa likes to trade with frontal guards, and Succession Mewa likes to trade with super armors. Mewa is a fly. Okay, she's a fly on the wall. She trades a lot like Musa does. Okay, a lot like Musa does. So essentially, she's going to be dashing around like a little fucking jackrabbit. Okay, and you have no hope of catching her. So just sit here. So you're just chilling. You literally just throw out Toxic Flood, you set up shop. Throw out Red Orb, and just wait. That bitch can't do shit to you. She's got Stub Arrow, but if you have your block up, that can't do shit. She has to come near you to do anything to you, okay? And she does not have a grab, all right? So really, all that needs to happen is she comes near you. She's always going to do the same stupid shit-ass thing, okay? She's going to come near you, then she's going to try to get behind you, okay? All right? And all you do against these terrible players is you just Voltaic, Thunderstorm, face them, and then start throwing frontal guards. Okay? Because they're going to try to do some crash sleek steps, and they're going to try to do this fancy fuck all that shit. Just Voltaic, Thunderstorm, put your face right in front of him, start throwing frontal guards, and just go to town. Oh my god, we got another raid. Blue stars with a rate of 73 blue stars. Hey girl, hey. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Thanks so much for that raid. I really appreciate that. Did we get another shout out? I'll do it. It's all right. Okay, there we go. We got it. Make sure you guys go give Blue Stars a follow up. He had a great stream, buddy. Get this. There we go. Blue Star's an excellent VTuber that plays BDO. Super fun to watch. Same for ninjas, unless it's a good ninja, the witch is killing him. Yeah, okay, so what you're counting on is that your enemy is gonna make a mistake, guys. All right? Particularly Mewas are always sweating balls. The sweat is coming off of their face and it's dripping onto the keyboard, and your hope is that it short circuits the keyboard before you can actually, so that you can actually kill them. Okay? Because if the Mewa plays without mistakes, it's gonna be very difficult to kill them. Okay, especially if it's like an Awakening Mewa is going to come near you. She trades with frontal guards, and she trades much faster and more efficiently than you do. Okay, Neptune's is a Succession Mewa. Okay, so in Succession Mewas trade differently. They dash up to you, they get behind you, and then they throw blooming. And if that doesn't work, they dash away like a rat, They wait for blooming to come back up, and then they do the same thing. And they do this for countless amounts of time until it works. But blue, how do they CC you? That's the fun part. They don't. Okay? It's literally just death is the best CC. They're just going to try to kill you from standing. Okay? Like, they're probably not going to be able to CC you if you're playing a good Awakening Witch. Okay? Do you ever try to slow them with paralysis? Yes, but you have to be very careful because they can CC you really quickly. Okay? Arrows? Yeah, dude. We already covered that. All right? Again, they're going to try to stub arrow you from range. That's their only range. They're going to dash around out here, and all they're going to be doing is they're going to try to stub arrow you. This is the Shaky Bay special. Okay? And you just put up your block, and then you can go get a cup of coffee because they can't do shit to you. Even Succession Maewa's prime stub arrow is still not good enough to get through this. Okay? No one gives a shit. So if you put up your block like this and you have Toxic Flood down, they really just can't do anything to you. If they out-trade you at close range, you TP away, Rabam heal, and then repeat the process until you out-trade them. There's really not much to be done about it. They can't grab you. They're constantly just going to try to dash in and get behind you. Their stub arrow is irrelevant in this matchup. Okay? Gore can block it too. So really, right now, we're actually blocked from two sides right now. We're blocked from the front like this, and Gore is blocking us from this side. The only way that the Maewa could actually approach us is to go around me like this. Okay? And again, you can just play around that pretty quickly. Really, real heated talking about these matchups. Oh, no, I already talked about stub arrow. And you're like, but the stub arrows, I already talked about it. Listen. Read, motherfucker. All right. Guardian. Guardian is another grab class. We talked about grab classes before. All she's going to do is she's going to put her block up and she's going to run at you like she's never had sex in her entire life. Do you understand? It's going to be the most frustrating thing that will ever happen to you. She just puts her shield up and she runs at you, and that is frontal guarded. Okay? And there is nothing you can do about that except this. Okay? If she's running at you in frontal guard, all you have to really do is TP to the other side of them and try to detonate a flow. That is it. That is all you can do about it. Okay? Or you can accept your fate, throw down Magic Shield like I said. Okay? Throw down Toxic Flood, Right Orb, and when she gets near you, she's going to try to iframe grab you. And what you do is you just throw down Gore Roll and pray. You can put down Gore Roll and pray, because again, Gore Roll is a knockback on every single hit of the skill. And it's really effective against Guardians because their grab is slow enough that it can actually knock them out of their grab. It's extremely effective. But also, it's like 50-50. 50-50. She's still probably going to grab you, okay? But, like, even if you do put her on the ground, Guardian is one of those matchups where she's going to be so tanky that you have to throw out Paralysis because you're going to have to combo her twice, okay? Unless you outgear the shit out of her, okay? Wusa. Awakening Wusa is actually a reasonable matchup for you because, like, it doesn't really do a crazy amount of shit very well. It's got one skill you're particularly worried about that can back attack you when she's standing in front of you. You're not really super worried about it because, like, most of her skills can be unprotected and you can knock her out of with detonative flow. You can just detonative flow her right over. Okay? When she's trying to throw range at you, you have way better range. Okay? All right, so she throws range at you, you throw range right back at her, and you just turbo the shit out of her. Your range is longer range, it does more burst damage, and you have more of it. Okay, basically across the board. If you're playing against the Succession Wusa, you're going to have a little bit of a tougher time. Okay, you got to worry about the thunderstorms. She can trade better at close range than you can, but understand that she does not have a grab in this kit. So essentially, it's the same as the Maewa. She's going to try to get in behind you with Butterfly Step, where she jumps around and she backflips and does all this stupid shit, and then she's going to land right behind you, and all you want to do is, I'm going to Voltaic, and I'm going to Thunderstorm, and then she's probably going to go to a different side of you, and then you can throw a Frontal Guard. Okay? Very important to note that all of Witch's skills are basically lingering. Watch Voltaic Pulse very closely. Okay? It is literally a full super armor until the balls stop moving. Okay? Thunderstorm is exactly the same way. Okay? Exactly the same way. Equilibrium, lingering frontal guard until the balls stop moving. Okay? Gore roll, lingering frontal guard until gore is finished and the balls stop moving. Okay. Fissure Wave. Casts really fast, so it's not lingering for the most part. Like, it's not lingering because, again, the balls are still moving when the frontal guard goes away, but it's got such a low cooldown, you don't care. Yes, there are drops. Yes, there are drops. What other skills? Again, lingering frontal guard. Okay, everything lingers, so like you can play fights very slowly. You can just chill. You want them to exhaust their resources, guys. So when they pile onto you, they're gonna be the ninja's like sweating out of his mind, and you're chilling. Okay, you're chilling. You just thought, okay, I'm gonna shift F. Now I'm gonna S. And there's the gap, and then you toss out Fissure Wave or something, right? So like you really want them to exhaust all of their resources before you actually use most of your skills. Okay, linger. I already know. Oh my god, I hardly even know. God, did you go over core skills for certain circumstances? I've gone over core skills. It's Fissure Wave in every single circumstance. The only time you're taking core detonative flow is in very specific 1v1 matchups, and even then, I still think Fissure Wave is better. Thunderstorm is dog shit because you can use the you know what, we'll cover this after we go over the matchups. Remind me to do BSR skills. You know what, I'll put this, we'll do that after the matchup. Okay, Wusa, same as the Meiwa. She's gonna try to get behind you. She's just gonna try to burst you, so just bear that in mind. Okay, Striker is exactly the same as Mystic. She's gonna run at you and he's gonna try to grab you belligerently. It's going to be offensive. How stupidly he can play and beat you. You are probably never beating a Striker or a Mystic. It does not matter. Because they have so much DR to your skills, and they have a lot of evasion, so even though you have a solid amount of accuracy, it just does not matter. Okay? This guy could literally go get a cup of fucking coffee. You know what? One time, I was fighting my buddy Note in the battle arena, and I was a Dark Knight. Okay? And he literally accidentally unplugged his keyboard in the middle of the fight. And I was just wailing on him for over 30 seconds while he tried to plug it back in and got back to the fight. He just stood up. I got him down to like half of his health in 30 seconds. 30 fucking straight seconds of him not even touching his keyboard. Okay. And then he plugged his keyboard back in. He hit the letter E like fucking Magellan circumnavigating the globe. He just reached down, circumnavigated that all the way to that fucking E key, found it, grabbed me, and killed me in one shot. Awakening Witch is exactly the same thing. Again, the best strategy against these two classes is to make sure that your server is actually visible in the top right of your screen. Okay, so when you see them and they come onto your rotation, and you will be able to hear them coming from the primate noises that you hear. Okay, all right, you're gonna be able to hear them from a ways off. Okay, so make sure that your game sounds are on, because you will be able to detect the primates getting closer to you. When they come onto your screen, you hit the V key and you swap servers. Okay, and again, I went over this. If you have it available in the top right, you think I'm fucking joking right now. If you have it available in the top right, you can actually swap before the V actually finishes, and that is again the most effective strategy. But like, there's really not much you're gonna be able to do against this guy. Again, it's the gore roll, magical shield. You do everything. You toxic flood, red orb. You do everything you can, but there's really not much to do. Magical evasion can be good at close quarters to try to dodge grabs, but understand it's a super armor that can grab you straight out of magical evasion. So if you try to do this, they're gonna grab you. If you try to do this, it's a super armor. They're gonna grab you. Okay, like you're just gonna get grabbed. You can get grabbed out of teleport too. But blue, it's an iframe. I know. They don't care. Tamer, you're dead. Swap servers. Valkyrie, also dead. Swap servers. Kuno, dead. Swap servers. Less dead, though. Most Kunos you can beat. I'll be honest with you, Tamer, they just iframe around you, okay? And then they're going to grab you. They have the fastest and one of the most effective grabs in the game, next to maybe Ranger. And they have iframes forever. They can iframe permanently, basically, all the way around you. Their pet is better than yours. Their iframes are better than yours, and they have better damage than you do. So you're probably going to die. She's going to try to get in behind you. You can do your best to throw out Voltaic and try to avoid the grab. And basically, the best thing to do against the Ranger is to just stay at range and just pelt them with range to the best of your ability, because she's got slow-moving iframes. She's not a particularly mobile class, all right? She's a lot like Sork. she has difficult keeping up with you. Okay, so again, this is gonna sound like a meme, but I'm actually not even joking when I tell you to do this. Okay, you're throwing range at somebody. Okay, make sure your speed spelled. You can teleport away, and then you can just put your weapons away and run away from them. I'm not joking. And then you turn around and you throw your range again. And then when your range is gone, you put your weapons away and you keep running. I'm not joking. There's nothing she can do about it. She can't do anything about it. And you have much better stamina movement. Tamer has to use a shitload of stamina to get near you. Okay. Awakening Tamer at least has like a pull jump thing. That's kind of scary, but you could just run away. Okay. And I'm not saying like just abandon the fight. No, I'm saying just exhaust their stamina. And then when they're standing at range trying to get their stamina back, that's when you just start fucking going in on these fucking classes, right? You just fireball, explosion. You're using your pre-awakening kit. You're just basically throwing everything that you can at these classes. And then when she's got her stamina back, guess what? We're gonna fucking run away like a bitch again. Okay, because you're way faster on foot than they are. They can't catch up to you. So like a lot of flank classes can be handled like that, especially the slow moving iframe heavy classes like this. You can definitely just run away and just keep throwing range at them. Like the, hey, run away to Shaky Bay special. A win is a win. They're really squishy. If you hit them with a barrage of lightning, they're probably gonna die. Okay. What if they don't chase and wait for you? That's great. That gives you more time to swap servers. But no, seriously though, if they don't chase you, you just turn around and throw range at them. Force them. They have to chase you. You don't understand. Just turn around and just start pounding them. And then, okay, well, now she's gonna chase me. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. And then you turn back around. Okay, she's not chasing me anymore. Now I'm gonna turbo you again, right? Let's be honest. Is this a guide for a guide or a World War I pep talk in the trenches? I heard you hyping up Yoke of Ordeal. Again, that's all we've got, right? That like against grabs, you just cross your fingers, use Yoke of Ordeal, go roll, and just pray that they get knocked back, right? Because eventually you're gonna run out. I went through all the movement stuff that you can do. I went through magical shield, magical evasion, all that stuff. But like at the end of the day, go roll is your best defense against some of these classes. Against some of the grab classes. When you have to plant your feet and fight them. But Tamer, that's basically how I handle Tamer. I just run away and keep pelting them with range. Valkyrie is, I would say that you could do the same thing on Valkyrie, but the reason I told you need to swap servers is one, Valkyrie is extremely tanky, so you have to combo her twice normally in order to actually kill her. She's got a lot of DR. And two, she has this new skill. Well, it's an old skill really, but they just reworked it, called Hostiludium. And it really doesn't matter how far you run or how quickly you run. She's going to close the distance in about half a second. She basically can just drill. She looks like a drill approaching at Mach 5. And so she's going to close the distance on you really, really, really fast. And there's not much you can do about it. And then she's immediately going to grab you, and she's probably just going to kill you. I will say that Awakening Valkyrie, outside of... If you dodge the grab, you can kill an Awakening Valkyrie. If you dodge the grab, you can just sit there and turbo the shit out of them. They can't do anything. They basically just have to sit and block like the virgins they are, and you just run them down with as many skills as you can. And if their block breaks, you have a good chance of killing them. But, like, that's if their block breaks. It's tough to break their block, right? It's really tough to break their block, okay? They're really unprotected when they leave their block. Like, Celestial Spear is really unprotected and stuff, but, like, it's tough to catch them because, like, in order to catch a Celestial Spear, she's probably standing at range. In order to catch that, you have to use Detonative Flow. Detonative Flow is also unprotected. So, like, at best, you're just going to trade CCs. Okay, Kuno and Ninja are exactly the same, okay? They're super sweaty anime meme lords. That are trying to be the best gamer in the entire world in an MMORPG. Okay, I have just described every Kunoichi and Ninja on the entire universe. Okay, they probably have anime up on their second monitor while they're fighting you, like, or they're listening to anime music while they're trying to kill you because it helps hype them up. Okay, just like in the anime. All right. Okay, so. But a Kuno and a Ninja, what you need to understand about these two classes is they have more gaps than Swiss cheese, okay? And Awakening Witch is very good at punishing mistakes. These two classes have some of the highest mistake ratios in the game. In other words, people make more mistakes on these two classes than they do on any other class in the game as a general rule, because they're such high APM and they have a lot of gaps in their kit. Awakening Witch has no gaps in her kit, which means if those fuckers do not block jump grab you, you're probably going to kill them. It doesn't matter. So when you see the block jump, he turns into a little log. Yes, I said L-O-G, log. You're going to see a little log, just elementalization. It's that simple. When you see the log, just elementalization, and then understand that that fucker, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna ninja step, I'm gonna get on top, oh my god, I'm gonna. Nobody fucking cares. You're dead. Okay, they're gonna try and get on top of you. Okay, and as long as you avoid the grab, you really don't give a shit. You're probably just gonna kill them. Okay, because you have Voltaic, you have Thunderstorm, you are eating your fucking coffee, you've got Frigid Fog, you've got Earthquake, right? It really doesn't fucking matter. Okay, like you are, this is a low stress matchup for you. You're just sitting here. They're the ones that have to sweat. They're the ones that have to get super aggressive. They're the ones that have to literally constantly be protected and constantly have a high APM all the time. And all you really need to do is avoid the grab, and you kill them. I would say that I have a positive win-loss against Kuno Ninja just because most of them suck. Now, I will say, if you're playing against a really good Kunoichi like Reeds, or you're playing against Armin, you're gonna lose 100% because they're not gonna miss the grab. They're just they're just not gonna fuck it up at all, and so you're dead. There's not much you can do about that. But like, you could basically just kite them forever. Elementalization is really good at kiting them, and then again, you can just stand at range and throw range at them. And there's nothing they can do about that. They have a skill. Ninja has a skill called Malice. It's these little shurikens that he throws out before he engages most of the time. It's usually the indicator that he's gonna engage you, that he's about to come in on you. So when you see Malice come out, that's when you need to make sure that you're super armoring. Okay? When you see Malice, but the blue, they're all the way over there. Not in the next 0.2 seconds, they're not gonna be. The second that you see Malice, you need to start throwing Voltaic, and you need to start throw Thunderstorm. Okay? Is there a way to play this game without getting ganked in PvP? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could technically... So if you join a guild, you just join a PvX guild that doesn't deck anybody, for the most part. Okay? No declarations of war. Seasonal servers have no PvP. So unless you have a guild deck, you're not going to have to deal with it. And you can also go on protection, which means that even if you are decked on somebody, they have to flag in order to kill you. Okay? All right. Now... So Ninja Kuno's going to have to exhaust themselves to get anywhere near you and get anything done. If they're standing at range, you turbo them. The only range in their kits is that Malice skill. And like, I think Kuno has something very similar to it. I don't know what it's called. It might be also Malice. I don't know. But like, you're just like you're just throwing range at them until you see that skill. Just throw range at him until you see that skill. Nate Dog 0 and I'm 10, by the way, with the brand new Prime subs. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate those Prime subs. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, you just throw range at them until they get near you, and then just... You're waiting for them to make a mistake. If they don't make a mistake, you're gonna die. You're dead. They don't have penetration on their grabs, so Magical Shield is particularly effective against these classes. Okay? So again, Kunoichi, Ninja, if they're coming in on you, use your Magical Shield, set up shop. They're gonna make a mistake because they're fucking bad, and you just fucking kill them. Okay? You just kill them. A good Voltaic will kill them. I will also say that against all of these flanking assassin classes, the best way to hit them, because they know you're going to Voltaic and they know you're going to Thunderstorm. But they don't know you're going to Frigid Fog. So, if you're really good, okay, if you're a god gamer, okay, against Kunoichi and Ninja, if you see them block jump, you know their next immediate move is going to be to TP behind you. Okay, because that's what block jump does. They turn into a log, and then they TP behind you. They can technically go backwards, too, but they're not going to do that. Okay? They're going to TP behind you, and then they're going to go for a grab. Well, they're going to be unprotected for a split second. All you really need to do is they're going to do that, and you just Frigid Fog. And then you laugh at them. Okay? Frigid Fog is an amazing catch. An amazing catch for 1v1 situations like this. Okay? I don't know what's wrong with people. I've been getting sent ducks all day. I'm not really sure what to say anymore. Other than Quancy's a bitch. Okay, so again, Frigid Fog is really good against Dark Knight. It's good against Ninja, Kuno, Wusa, basically all of the flank classes in the game that Mewa, all the flank classes in the game that are constantly trying to get behind you. You can do Voltaic, Thunderstorm, and then they're gonna be like, I can go in, and then you hit them with the Frigid Fog. Okay. Also, you can linger out Voltaic and Thunderstorm. So again, they know those two skills. They know those two skills. You Voltaic, chill. Thunderstorm, chill. Frigid Fog, okay? Like so you can linger these for a really long time and play mind games with your opponent. But really, you're very reactionary. They have to act and you react correctly. Okay? And you react correctly. All right. Sork. Same strategy as Tamer. Just run away until they're out of breath. Sork can the only range that Sork has is Dream of Doom. So you can basically just run away from them on repeat. You can make it the most unintuitive, uninteractive matchup of all time until they get so frustrated that you kill them. Okay? Because they have very short range iframes. You can just TP away and just keep throwing range at them. Okay? Oh, they're still coming. I'm just going to keep backing up. I'm just going to keep backing up. All right, I'm just going to run this way. And they don't have range to stop you. They can't stop you from doing that. You don't have to fight a Sork. Okay? What they want you to do is they want you to stand there and they want you to trade with them. Okay? They want you to just they want to be able to iframe around you and do all this crazy flips and shit and try to hit you with Shadow Eruption and fucking Grim Reaper's Judgment. All of that shit is melee. All avoidable. Just run away and keep throwing range at them until they die. Sork has 4 long-range CCs. Not realistically, though. Realistically speaking, no, they don't. They have Dream of Doom. That's what you're worried about, right? You're not worried about the other ranged CCs, okay? Because you can outrange their CC and you can kill them. Also, Dream of Doom is unprotected, so you can just detonate flow them straight out of DOD. Okay? Wait till they waste Dream of Doom first, though. Yeah, well, I mean, like, obviously, usually what I do is I just wait. As I just wait, they're gonna throw Dream of Doom at me, and the second that they try to charge up this big ball above their head, you just detonate a flow, and then you if it CCs them, you TP in and you just pound them. Okay. Yeah, there's really only 2, and if you're far away, there's no follow-up. Exactly, Sailor. We're not concerned about the other ones. Again, I'm only going over the important stuff as it pertains to Witch. Okay, so this is Ranger. Ranger's actually a relatively simple matchup. Just don't get near her until she's CC'd. It's that simple. But Blue, she has range. Not as much as you do. Okay? You just stand away. Like, Ranger's actually deceptive. Her range is actually not very good. Okay? And it's really unprotected. Okay? So the second that she tries to use her range on you, detonate a flow. You're dead. You're dead. Okay, so like, yeah, especially if it's a suck ranger, they're gonna try to throw range at you, but if you're standing here, most of their skills can't even hit you at this distance. But you can hit them, though. Okay? And you can hit them with Fireball Explosion. You see, we can still hit them at this range. They can't hit us. They cannot hit us. Okay? So, just keep your distance until you land a CC on them, because they're really unprotected from range. And then when you do land a CC, double TP in, follow up with Fisher Wave, and then 2-shot them, because they're really squishy. Rangers are squishy. You don't have to worry about paralysis. You should be able to one-combo them pretty easily. Okay. Lon, you're probably dead. Suck Lon is a super armor trading menace, and she can fly through the air, and you can't really do much about it. You can't really do much about the fact that she can just land on you and spin, and even if you're protected, she out super armor trades you. Like 100% of the time, she out super armor trades you. And she just kills you. Even through your Toxic Flood and your Red Orb, you just die. There's not much that can be done. You can try to trade really hard and then TP away and then blast her with range, because she's only super armored when she flies through the air, and you can swat her like a bug. But like, aside from that, you're probably dead. She also has a ranged stiffen that she can cast from the air, which most people don't know about. So like, she's usually like right around here in the air. And what she's going to do is she's going to throw out a little fucking thing. Okay. And she's going to stiffen you while she's in the air. So you need to make sure that you're protected when she gets anywhere near you and she's in the air. Okay. Both Awakening and Succession can do that. It's really annoying and it's shitty. But Awakening also has a ranged grab. There's really not much you can do to avoid it. You're probably just dead. Again, there's not much you can do against Lon. Swap servers. Zerker, swap servers. He's got 3 grabs. They all have penetration. He's just gonna run at you, and nobody puts the W in grab like a Zerker does. Okay, like all you can really do, and honestly, the best strategy that I've found is that most of Zerker, like Succession Zerker anyway, is super armored, and you can catch them with paralysis, and then you can really just out kite them. If I'm being honest, you can't out kite them. If you can land paralysis on them, you can just out kite them. He has 3 grabs. I said that. So like if you can get paralysis down on them, it's definitely a doable matchup. If it's Awakening Zerker, you unironically have a way better chance of killing an Awakening Berserker than you do a Succession Berserker. Awakening Berserker is relatively unprotected from range, and Detonative Flow will catch them every time. Okay? Like, they're gonna try to use some dumb shit. They probably have the core on Titan Blow, but like, you just wait for Titan Blow to go off, then they're gonna use their stupid fucking cannon skill, and you just float them. It's great. Now, I will say that you're probably going to have to combo them twice because they have a really big health pool. So make sure, again, paralysis is super strong. Archer. You're probably dead. You should swap servers. If the Archer has a shitload of damage and is good, you will never hit him. It doesn't matter. And he's got way more movement than you. Archers bitch about how they're an unprotected class. They're permanently protected 100% of the time. In a 1v1 like this, you can't actually stop them. They're going to fucking kill you. So they have more range than you. If you TP on top of them, they're just going to kite backwards in full super armor and get away from you. And then you can't actually follow up. So if you double TP in, you're, oh, I'm right on top of him. He's just going to kite away from you, and he's going to keep pelting you with range. And there's nothing you can do about that. He breaks your frontal guard in 1 skill, and then he's going to kill you. And then he's going to kill you. So you're probably just dead. You're probably just dead. Warrior, we talked about warriors. Gore roll, like gore roll and pray, right? They're just gonna walk at you in their block, and there's not gonna be any skill to it. They're gonna have an APM of about 6. Whether it's Succession or Awakening is irrelevant. They're both gonna do the same thing. They're just gonna walk at you with block, and they're gonna grab you. And there's nothing you can really do about that. You can pelt him with range and constantly kite around and try to break his frontal guard is the best way I've chosen to do it. So like at the start of the match, I will immediately just start pelting his frontal guard and kiting backwards. And then I will use Meteor, and then I'll start blizzarding. And then he's going to run at me, so I would TP away, and then I would fireball, explosion, try to detonate a flow him, and again, try to kite back. Like, I'm just constantly trying to kite back and throw range at him. You saw that I used Sage's memory there. Again, you're trying to break his block as quickly as you can, and then when he gets near you, and you run out of movement skills, you just have to try to go roll. There's nothing to be done. You are not going to be able to resist the grab. It has basically 100% grapple resist penetration on it. I know it only says 20 or 30%, but for all intents and purposes, you need to understand that warriors do not allow you to have grab resist. It is 100% grab resist. It's going to work 100% of the time, no matter what on you, and you are fucking dead unless you go roll. Okay, that's the only thing that you can do. It's the only thing that you can do. Nice Witch Guide Blue. I'm liking the combos too. Good, because we're working our way through it. We went over Corsair already. Ninja we went through. Again, it's the same process as Kuno. Just watch the Malice, and you'll be fine. Because most ninjas and Kunos are bad. So like you can just kill them because they're gonna make a mistake. Valkyrie we went over. Nova. If it's a Suck Nova, just swap servers because neither of you is ever killing each other. Suck Nova does not have the capability to actually get near you. In PvP, so you can constantly just run away, and they don't have the mobility to actually catch you. All right, so they have really low mobility, but they have a strong enough frontal guard that you're never going to break their frontal guard. And if you try to stand and fight from range, their pet is going to CC you from behind through your frontal guarded skills from all the way over here. Okay, if the Nova's standing over there, you can get CC'd from standing right here and in a frontal guard like this. So like you're just dead. So like you just keep running away until she decides to swap servers or you do. And that's it. She has a grab. You can't get near her. If you try to trade with her, you're probably not going to be able to kill her because she's too tanky. Even if you do somehow manage to CC her, a Suck Nova is basically a frontal guarded super armor bot. They could literally just flip their fucking keyboard over like this and just start pounding it against the desk. Okay? And they probably wouldn't die. Suck Nova. Okay, Awakening Nova. You're dead. She has a grab. She's way faster than you are. She does a shitload of damage. She can get behind you instantly. if you ever beat an Awakening Nova in a 1v1, just understand it's not necessarily because you're a god. It's because they have like 3 less fingers than you do, and they're just bad. Okay? If you win a single round against an Awakening Nova in a best of 10, they're actually probably the worst player on the server. They're actually just bad. So like, they're gonna dash at you really fast. You're frontal guarded, protected, so they can just dash straight through you and immediately CC you on the back foot. They have vacuums to hold you in place so you can't TP away, because you can't TP out of the vacuum. Like, they have all kind. If somehow you get the upper hand on them, they can Nova Wall and block all of your incoming range until they get healed back up. Their Excel mode basically means they're going to 2-shot you. You are very likely dead if you're fighting an Awakening Nova. There's not much you can do. If you can hit them with Paralysis, is your only... Like, trying to hit them with Voltaic Thunderstorm as they go through you, and then trying to land Paralysis and TPing away. And then pelting them with range until they die. Like, Paralysis is really your only defense against this class. That is it. Sage. Suck Sage is doable, because you can land Paralysis on them really easily, and they're already a slow-moving class. You can treat them a lot like Sork and Tamer. You can just run away and throw range at them until they die. That's basically the strategy. They're gonna out-trade you at close range, so you need to be careful. Now, I will say that if you can predict where they're gonna move to, you can just out-frontal guard trade them, no problem. Okay? I do this all the time to suck Sages. If you play against one regularly, you'll understand kind of how they like to move and where they like to pop out of their skills and do stuff. And you can just frontal guard their damage. It's relatively easy, so it's not so bad. And again, you can just run away from them and choose your engages wisely and just abuse your range. Awakening Sage is much tougher. It has a grab. It's much faster moving. It's got solid AoEs. You're probably dead if he's good at spacing the grab. Now, the best way to avoid an Awakening Sage's grab is to just hop around and like constantly reposition yourself at close range. Awakening Sage's grab will malfunction and not work if you don't perfectly space it. It's really weird. It is a ranged grab, but like unless you're standing at a perfect like distance, it's going to fail. So like you can basically magical evasion toward them, and the grab will actually just not hit you. Like it's really weird. But like as long as you constantly keep moving around with magical evasion and elementalization where you can, and then TPing and stuff, you're constantly going to be moving in such a way that they can't actually get that grab down on you. So like it's definitely doable to avoid their grab just based on how they move and like how the grab actually works in that particular matchup. Draconia, Awakening Draconia, you're probably dead, although it's doable. It's not as helpless as like an Awakening Nova is. Awakening Draconia is going to try to fly in at Mach 5. And again, you just set up shop, boys. Red Orb, Toxic Flood. Make sure you're speed spelled, magic shielded, and you're ready to go. Okay, and then you just start pounding. The second they get anywhere near you, you start pounding out your electric skills. When you think they're going to go for a grab, elementalization or magical evasion away, because that's really what they have on you. If they don't land a grab, you're probably going to kill them. Awakening Draconia is not particularly good at killing you if they don't have their grab. Now, their grab is really good, though, so just bear in mind that if they get the grab, you're probably dead. Their damage is really solid, but, like, it's avoidable. It's just, it comes in really fast. Usually what Flowers or someone is going to do is they're going to fly in at Mach 5 and they're going to grab you straight out of the flight and you're just dead. Right, that's going to be really tough to deal with. It does not have, I don't think it has grapple resist penetration on the grab, so you can try to use Magical Shield to great effect against that class. And if the grab fails, you just slam them with Voltaic and stuff. And you can basically just face tank everything that they do. If they're smart, they'll run away after the grab attempt. Yeah, exactly. It's just a tough matchup. If they try to run away, though, you can pelt them with range damage, so it's doable. You can punish them pretty hard if their grab fails. Okay, if they mess up their grab or the grab fails in any way, you can definitely avoid it. Okay, so when they're flying in, though, you should probably magical evasion. Understand that it's very difficult for them to fly in at you and grab you if you're moving. Okay, if they fly in on you and you magical evasion this way, okay, well now their trajectory is all off and you'll have time to elementalization too, and then they just don't have the room to gap close on you, and you can start just rolling them. Okay, and then you can just start rolling them. Okay, so it's doable, but it's tough. Suck Draconia, you're probably dead. It does not have a grab, but like it's just going to be able to out trade you at close range, and it does so much damage. It saps your mana, and then like you can't one combo them, but they just stand up and they PA themselves. Their self PAs on like a 30-second cooldown. So unless you can CC them and full combo them twice in under 30 seconds, you're probably just hopeless here. This is probably just an L matchup. Like, it's just a tough matchup unless you outgear the shit out of them. This is a Megu. Megu's Awakening Megu is really hard because she blinks. Her specialty is that she blinks in behind people. She can go up, down, terrain, and blink in behind you really fast. But it's a lot like Ninja and Kuno. It requires really high APM, and they're probably going to make a mistake. So what you do is you set up Red Orb, Toxic Flood, Speed Spell, Magic Shield, and you say, "Come get it." And then she's going to get near you, and you can Magical Evasion, and you can just start turboing her, right? As long as you avoid the, like the initial CC attempts with your Thunderstorm and Voltaic, you're probably going to be okay. Succession Megu is more of a mid-range caster. Just abuse your range against her, do your best. And you out-trade her at close range normally, but usually she's not going to get close unless she's already DPS'd you pretty hard. So just remember to trade with your frontal guards. It doesn't have a grab, so you don't really have to worry about that. I don't think Awakening Megu does either. So like, you're not worried about grabs, you're just worried about them popping in behind you when you don't see them. So again, Thunderstorm, Voltaic. Also, Frigid Fog is super good against Awakening Megu. Awesome new YouTube videos for today. Thanks so much, Maestro. I really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me on YouTube, buddy. Okay. What is this one? Oh, it's just another Kuno. We didn't go over Musa because I don't have a Musa. But Musa is the same as Mewa, in that like they're basically just gonna dash around. You can put up a frontal guard and you're not really concerned about it. Every single time what they're gonna do is they're gonna dash around, they're gonna try to stub arrow you. You don't give a shit. Just set up shop and wait for them to get close. The second that they get close, you throw your electricity skills, and you try to trade with them. Okay, they're gonna reveal where they're gonna go. Usually a Suck Musa is gonna dash in really fast, and they're gonna try to slide in behind you and try to CC you from behind. Again, just use your electricity skills, elementalization away from them, and then start throwing frontal guards, because they have to get melee range to hurt you. The stub, I mean, you do have to watch out for stub arrow. You don't really care though, because like, again, you have protective range all over the place. You're not really super concerned about it, but you're constantly just working to keep your distance from them. Assassin is really simple. Okay, it's just like Awakening Megu. Okay, it's always going to try to blink behind you. It's just like Suck Ninja. It's just like Kuno. They're just going to try to jump behind you and get a clean CC on you. So just make sure you know the distance with which he can do his arid assaults. I think that's the skill that like jumps behind you and CCs you. You just need to make sure that when he goes to do that, that you're in a full super armor. And if you do that, you're probably going to be just fine. Awakening Hash can grab you. You're probably just dead. Succession Hash is doable as long as you avoid the arid assault. All right, I think I've gone through every basically class matchup in the game. The last thing that I kind of want to cover for Awakening Witch is your BSR skills. Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck that. Fuck that. And fuck that. Okay, so these are the two skills that you're really going to worry about. People will tell you that, oh, the core on Thunderstorm is so good. That's because they're bad at Witch and they don't understand this. The core on Thunderstorm actually gives you a stun, but if you use the 50% BSR, it gives it a stun anyway. It's RMB, but I've done RMB, but there it goes. There it goes. That will stun them. That will stun them. Okay, and you'll notice that it was like it showed like a BSR skill. So you can definitely BSR. It's really good for knocking people off their horses. It's really good for catching people unawares because normally Thunderstorm is not a stun. Fisher Wave is your 100%. You want to keep that unlocked. It's actually pretty good. Understand that if you miss your... It's really easy to miss the 100% on Fisher Wave. It's super buggy. So like normal Fisher Wave will hit them like this. But if you use the ultimate Fisher Wave, it actually does not hit your target unless they're standing at a very perfect range from you. Like literally right there. If it hits, it kind of slaps. But like it's also a super armor. Normally when you're using Fisher Wave, you want it to be a frontal guard. But like it is what it is. Is it a lifestyle choice kind of outfit? Yeah, kind of. Okay. I think I've gone through builds, skill add-ons, BSR stuff, skill combos, all of the matchups, follow-ups, all the skills have been gone through. I think I've got everything. Is there any questions? Did I miss anything? We went through artifacts as well. Pet CC, I already covered that. Is BSR auto on certain skills, or do you have input or something different? No, it's not auto. You have to actually, like... All right. So, for Thunderstorm... So, normally when you cast Thunderstorm, you have to do down F. Okay? But when you want to cast the Black Spirit version of Thunderstorms, you have to hold right mouse button while you're holding down F. And it'll cast the Black Spirit form. Okay, so there's, like, extra key inputs that you have to use for these. I will say... It's important to note that the lightning is actually not a bad 100% if you're standing at range and you're really safe and you can't use Fisher Wave 100%. The lightning is actually not a bad 100% to use in large scale PvP. You basically spin around and it's like electricity all around you. It's really good. It's really solid.